welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another group here of the Rongyi Cup group stage, Group B. I'm of course ShoWTimE VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, other people in chat, and of course, one day by my plushies once again. But welcome one and all. Again, the Rongyi Cup is a massive tournament, a $20,000 prize pool run by SC Boy, by the Chinese scene, the Chinese community, and has been running over the course of the weekend. Yesterday we were live with Group A. Here we're going to be live with Group B. Going to be catching up with some more Rongyi Cup. Of course, there are 4 groups in total, 4 groups, and 8 players will advance on into the playoffs. Now, for those that are curious, I do apologize. I was tentative about going live last night. Last night was Group C. Group C was last night. But again, the event is starting a little bit too late. I'm not quite as available at that time, so I wasn't quite able to cover it, and instead we're going to be covering it via replays, the group stage and most likely the playoffs as well, all via replays. Instead, we'll be covering all of it, but again, it'll take us like an extra day or two to actually catch up on those games and catch up on those matches, but we'll get there. We will get there. Otherwise, bienvenidos, welcome one and all. Welcome to Group B. Quickly switching our scenes over, let's catch up on the group itself. 4 players do face off, and 2 players will be able to make it through into the playoffs. As you can see here, we have 4 players in total. We have Clem, ShoWTimE, Zoun, and Bonnie. 2 Terrans and 2 Protosses, or really I guess 1.5 Terran and 2.5 Protoss. Again, Clem, if he does play against Bunny, he will play Protoss. Bear that in mind. He does avoid the TVT matchup, has not played TVT in over a year, so it's something that he does avoid intentionally, so of course, so that we might see Clem's Protoss at some point in this group as well. We'll see. We shall see. Initially, though, we do have Clem versus ShoWTimE, and of course, Zoun versus Bunny thereafter. Coming into this group, if you recall, I had a bit of a hard time kind of placing who would be favorite here. I think I settled on Clem and Bunny. If you remember, Bunny did defeat ShoWTimE recently in the ShoWTimE Monday, like 2 weeks ago, and likewise, Zoun has been MIA. Zoun has been a little more inactive and hasn't really been competing too much as of late, so it's hard to pin down the state of play of Zoun. So we'll see. We'll see how Zoun, Bunny, and ShoWTimE to perform. Clem, of course, the heavy favorite, but we'll see how they compare to each other as we're jumping into our first series, our first matchup. It is going to be Clem versus ShoWTimE. Game 1 is going to be on the Old Republic. Here we go. Let's go. Quack, papi, quack. Bienvenidos. Oh. So we're diving into our first series. Bearing in mind as well, these are all going to be best of 3s. All best of 3s, no best of 5s. And we're jumping into that first game this morning. In the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Sentinels. It is a ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the French Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. It is Clem. For Team Liquid. Here we go. Again, bienvenidos everyone, bienvenidos. As we're loading into the Old Republic, one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map, longer rushes and spike rounds. On these larger maps, I typically do favor Protoss players and their ability to build up on a 3-4 bases, gain map control, and contain the Terran opponents. One of the big kind of factors, one of the big mountains to climb on this map is establishing a 4th base as the defending player. Whether it's the low ground 4th base, whether it's a linear 4th base, it is much more difficult to take, much more difficult to maintain, and getting to a longer macro game is going to be a tougher ask here for Clem. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can get there. Otherwise, we're going to be calming down, settling in. ShoWTimE is typically one that does embrace the mid game. He's not really one that's too aggressive early on. I do know that ShoWTimE has been kind of shaking up kind of his style and has been mixing in some more aggression, some more cheese, especially in PvP. But I would say that's the exception, right? Like PvP is chaotic, is animalistic, and ShoWTimE does often proxy in PvP. But in the other matchups, is still known for that more mid game at least, or even longer macro game. Now, ShoWTimE has been adjusting how he gets there. I will say that, especially in PvZ, we've been seeing a little bit more of a gateway robo-centric style, which actually did excel and work quite well against Raynor, if you recall. But again, that's a different matchup. Here in PvT, things can be very chaotic early on. Early game aggression here can swing things heavily in favor of Terran or Protoss, depending on how much damage is done. So we'll see if ShoWTimE can keep up. For now though, economic opener. Single gas opener out of Clem, going for the racks into expand into a delayed factory, just calming down and getting into a more economic start. Oh, okay, ShoWTimE going for the Stargate, not the Twilight Council. Interesting. Stargate openers are more of a rarer sight nowadays. We bring this up all the time, but a Stargate opener is a little bit more viable on these larger maps, just because whenever you go for Stargate, whenever you open up Oracle or Phoenix, you are vulnerable to early all-ins, to two-base all-ins specifically. But on these larger maps, there's a lower chance of an all-in happening. So I do think that this is a safer decision here from ShoWTimE, and we'll see what he can get done with it. We shall see. Leading towards Oracle into Phoenixes, or just straight Phoenix opener here out of ShoWTimE to gain map control, to be able to slow down Clem, contain him, and potentially even get into Phoenix Colossus, which is a bit of an older school composition, but I mean, it can still work. Can still work. We've seen it pop up every now and then. Here comes the first Oracle. First Oracle's moving out to harass. Adepts move out as well. Clem back at home. He's got his bunker, he's got his 3 Marines. Behind this, getting into his own Woodermine drop. Adepts can shade past the bunker. They can go for the mineral line. Shade is cancelled. More Adepts are on the way. Oh, and ShoWTimE is going for a second Oracle, not going for any Phoenixes. Okay. Now with the second Oracle, you can one-shot. 2 Oracles can one-shot SCVs. So a lot of damage can and will be done. ShoWTimE's goal here is going to be to deal critical economic damage and take a lead from there. And we're all coming together. Okay, he commits. Does commit in. He's going straight for the Marines. The Marines are getting caught outside of the bunker. That's going to be, oh my god, nice target firing. Yeah, nice target firing here on the Oracle. That's going to be most of the Marines going down. 2 Marines left over. SCVs are going to be focused down as well. And it's going to be 5 SCV kills, 5 SCVs, and 5 Marines as well. For 3 Adepts, not a bad trade. Not a bad trade. Ideally, ShoWTimE did want to kill every Marine, but he wasn't quite able to. The boys are pulled, Adepts got locked down. And Clem holds. Did sustain some damage, but he does hold on. Behind this, we have a second Rax on the way, getting his own eventually 3-1-1. Mind drop is on the way. And making his way into that mineral line. Oh. ShoWTimE does react, does pull the boys. Oh my god, does focus down for the first mine. 2 mines left over. And looks like we'll get at least 1 probe. And 1 probe goes down. Still 1 more mine shot left. Jumping into the main base. ShoWTimE does react. Ooh, and Clem, he will attempt to get away. It does boost out, dropping into the natural. ShoWTimE reacts. Clem just being as annoying as possible. Remember, there is no blink. And he will get 1 shot off. I spoke too soon! Oh no! Jeez. 3 probes, very nice damage towards the end. Again, at this level of play, you typically expect 1 probe to go down, but no, he gets 3 towards the end, so nice shot, nice damage there by Clem. Also denying mining time, keeping ShoWTimE's attention back at home as well. So nice damage out of our Terran, as Clem is building up and getting into stim. Meanwhile, a big shout to Pick. Oh, wait, the chat. God, baby, God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing for 13 months, over a year of support, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing, and I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft as we are getting into our first, as we're still getting into the first game of the series. Again, Clem, he got some nice damage. Behind this, going for a stim follow-up. Until then, he's stuck at home, so he has to wait for his upgrades. Stim, combat shields, +1, all the upgrades are still on the way. Until then, it's going to be on ShoWTimE to saturate his 3 bases and to build up into the mid-game as well. We have Blink that's finishing up, a Mass Gateway Explosion. No splash damage yet, but ShoWTimE, he does have a pretty active army here, and he has potential to slow down Clem. Stasis traps, Stalkers, the Oracles as well. The Oracles also provide high ground vision. Say poking, and they even kill the bunker. Okay. Bunker gets sniped. There's a recall back home as Clem is dropping. He's going for his own doom drop. The main army is here outside of the natural and can react in time to the third. Clem shouldn't get much here. He does get the shield battery at least. It's a battery, picks up 3 zealots. Ooh. So again, they do get one of the medevacs. And Stim will punish. Again, Stim is available. Does kite back, and Clem is going to be cleaned up. Ooh, losing 2 full medevacs. Clem did trade with the army, but ideally he wanted economic damage. So not the best trades here for Clem. Has to pull away. Bearing in mind that if Clem loses too much too quickly, then he's going to be contained back at home. He wants to be active. He wants to be active. He wants to be aggressive. He wants to gain that momentum. Jumping back in. A does force a cancel. Okay. Cancellation on the 4th. And Clem, instead of rotating over towards the natural, which ShoWTimE is anticipating, Clem, he reinforces the left-hand side. So Clem, he rotates over. ShoWTimE is out of position. I say out of position. ShoWTimE is in position to defend his 4th. And Clem, he gets a couple of pylons. It's going to be 3 pylons going down. ShoWTimE is supply. Oh my god. Heavy supply block for ShoWTimE. Yeah, heavy supply block. Nice retargeting. Clem rotates. He should recognize that there should be a 4th base either on the right hand side or the center of the map. ShoWTimE is going for a second robo. Bay is on the way for Colossus production. ShoWTimE is getting there. He's getting there. ShoWTimE, he attempts his zealot run by, or at least is in position to try to punish, but he gets spotted by the spotter depot. And the game slows down. The game slows down. Clem, he's likewise getting his own throat up and running. 4th CC is on the way. I would say this 4th base for ShoWTimE is late. It is delayed, and that is going to be a bit of a concern. Clem's goal at this point should be to max out. Should be to max out, build up into Vikings, into Ghosts, and maybe into Liberators. The armory on the way for 2-2. We have the 2nd starport for more Viking production. The game is going to slow down. We're slowing things down. Now, I did mention earlier that I do favor this map for whoever is the aggressing player. The reasoning for this is that, hey, ShoWTimE is good as 4th base, and Clem does not. ShoWTimE is gaining map control, and we mentioned earlier that the 4th base here on this map is very difficult to maintain, and it's going to be up to Clem to try to defend his position. Yeah, ShoWTimE is taking more bases. Again, ShoWTimE has map control. Knocking down rocks, throwing down stasis traps. Let's go to War Prism on the left hand side to drop into the natural. Likewise, Zealot Runman on the right hand side to hit the 3rd. ShoWTimE does distract. Yeah, he pokes in, he's going for the 4th expansion, slides a medevac. Not bad. While he distracts Zealots, they are actually the Clem is actually keeping up. Oof. Very nice mind connections. Keeps up, zones away. The War Prison didn't go into the natural. And so far, so good. Now again, oh Jesus, that's the stasis to go up. But once again, as we mentioned before, Clem's win condition, his goal here is not to counterattack. It's not to counterattack unless he wins the dominant fights. It's to stay at home. Stay at home and perfect his army. Here's him to the natural. ShoWTimE moves in. Once again, distracting Clem. The Prism does make it past. Clem is diving on the Colossus. Oh, doesn't quite get it though. Yeah, the Colossus does walk away. And Clem thankfully has some reinforcements. Yeah, he defends. Clem, he defends back at home. He's up all the Zealots. Prism went down as well. So a nice defense out of Clem, and you can see here he's just getting more CCs, more orbitals. His army is still lacking. Does he have an academy? He does not. Ooh. No academy, no EMPs. A little bit surprising. At this point, I feel like he can't afford one. He's going straight for the fusion core. So the fusion core is indicative that he wants to go into liberators with liberator range. I'm just a little bit surprised that he never did get into the academy. I don't know if that's intentional. Clem does catch out one of the Colossus. So far gets one, and there's not many Zealots here to buffer. The Stalkers are more exposed. And Vikings, they just go to town. They're going to get every single Colossus. Yeah, this was not a fight to take for ShoWTimE. Oof. ShoWTimE losing every Colossus. It's 4 Colossus going down. That was a better engagement here for Clem. Again, ShoWTimE, his Zealot count was just too low. These Zealots, they came in too late. We can see ShoWTimE switching out of Mass Colossus into Storm, into Disruptors. Likewise, Clem now getting a 5th. 5th base is on the way. He did retain his Viking count at least somewhat, 7 Vikings left over. The fusion core is now done, and we're not quite getting the upgrade yet. And Clem doesn't have the gas for it. Oh, never goes off. Does graze the army. Second over doesn't quite land, and 2 disruptors will go down. Better trades here for Clem as he does catch out ShoWTimE. He should not be here. Oof. Yeah, ShoWTimE should not be here. His also going down. Stalkers as well. Sentries get left behind, and everything swings in favor of Clem. He just tanks the storms. Oof. The final storm did do quite a lot of damage there, but there are more storms coming in. Okay. There's 2 more storms available. ShoWTimE should be able to hold on. Yeah, Zealots move in, and Colossus behind this. And ShoWTimE will clean up this army. Clem, he overextended. Took some really good fights, but alas, he gets caught out here. Clem falling in supply. And what just happened is that Clem just lost every Viking. Remember, he landed the Vikings, so every Viking just went down. His Viking count was reset. Now he's up against Colossus. And Clem is vulnerable. ShoWTimE is maxed out. It's maxed out. Yeah, gonna be collapsing in. Catching out the Marauders. And ShoWTimE looks like he should be able to break this position. Again, Clem, he never got into Ghost production, never had any EMPs. GG gets called as ShoWTimE, he breaks the 5th base, and ShoWTimE takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, ShoWTimE was able to punish Clem for overextending. Once again, as I mentioned before, I don't think it was intentional that Clem never went for the academy, never built up into Ghosts. Because of that, his army was that much less efficient. It left a little bit much to be desired there. And again, unfortunately, even though he took a really nice fight, it was a really good moment when he caught the Disruptors, when he caught the main gateway army as well, but he counterattacked and he got caught out, right? He got caught out, lost all of his Vikings, and just bled out far too much. He could not sustain those losses. GG. GG, well played. ShoWTimE takes lead in the series, and we'll see if ShoWTimE can take it from here. Bearing in mind, this is a best of 3. One more slip up, and ShoWTimE can make it through. Let's go. Let us go, as up next, going to be loading into Winter Madness. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the red Protoss player. We have the German Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Here we go. Here we go as we are getting into game number 2, and again, ShoWTimE, he does have a lead in the series. Clem, he did have a really rough mid game. His mid game was lacking for sure. He had some nice moments, he had some nice fights. Unfortunately, he overextended, he counterattacked and pushed into a reinforcing Protoss army. So again, was able to kind of lose any momentum that he would have had then and there. And we see Clem already mixing it up, going double gas. Double gas opener here by Clem, going for a faster factory, going for a later CC this time. I would say this is a bit of a safer start. Technically, if ShoWTimE did go for a proxy and did go for some earlier shenanigans, then Clem could shut it down. We can see that ShoWTimE's going for a standard opener, and we'll see what Clem does with this more tech-heavy start. Again, this leads into a faster factory. It also leads into a faster starport as well. So we'll see how committed Clem plans on being. We shall see. So now we are building up. To an extent, everyone is OP. True. I feel like last game is a good example of something that a lot of the Terran players do say, is that very often it is unsafe to counterattack even after winning a fight and pressing that advantage just because of reinforcements from your opponents. And I mean, especially if you have a subpar army as well, right? We spoke about it, but Clem, he had the fusion core, but he didn't get into liberators yet. He had no academy, he had no ghosts. You know, there's that faster starport getting into his 1-1-1. First, it does delay the CC. Nice pick up here by ShoWTimE. Shouldn't get much more damage though, as the Reaper Hellion will clean this up. At least ShoWTimE scouts. So ShoWTimE is aware this is a later CC. He's aware it's a faster factory. As he attempts to delay. Delaying as much as he can. And meanwhile, as opposed to the last game, it is going to be a Twilight Council opener this time. Twilight Council into Blink. ShoWTimE going for a safer start. Getting a safety shield battery, throwing down 3 gateways. This can lead into a robo as well. Yep, speaking of, there's that robo. So very safe play here by ShoWTimE. And we'll see how aggressive Clem is going to be. Let's go to Cyclone, go to Medevac. Is moving out with the drop. So Clem is moving out. ShoWTimE should have the tools to defend as we're getting into the eventual warp ins. Okay, where's it getting up? And so here we go, the drop is coming. His gateways are up, the prism is on the way, which means that after ShoWTimE's defense, he can counterattack. Assuming he doesn't lose too much. As the drop slips into the natural. ShoWTimE, he does react, he does respond, the shield battery is done, so that does keep his stalkers alive. And so far, so good. ShoWTimE does deflect. Now, unfortunately, he has yet to kill the medevac itself, so this will stop any kind of counterattack. ShoWTimE spots the medevac. Oh no! The prism is going to get caught out. Yeah, massive pick off here. The prism does fall. And ShoWTimE is stuck at home. Okay, stuck at home, we'll take a third base instead. Again, that prism would have allowed ShoWTimE to counterattack and to apply pressure and to maybe even break the main and deny stim. But without it, he's going to be stuck at home. I say stuck at home, he's looking to be active on the map, but any high ground vision is now stripped away. The observers in production that will allow him to blink into the main potentially, but without that, he's stuck on the low ground. So Clem is dropping back in. Oh, medevac is going to be targeted. Jesus. Calm down. Medevac barely gets away. True, ShoWTimE, he can potentially shade into the main, but not quite able to. Doesn't shade into the main, doesn't get high ground vision. From here, the game slows down when getting into the mid game. ShoWTimE's getting his third base. Clem likewise building up on 2. Waiting for Stim. Combat Children +1. Once that all kicks in, he can move out again. And we are getting there. As Clem moves out, it's going to be on ShoWTimE to slow this down. Does pick off 2 Marines. So 2 Marines get picked off. Medevac gets spotted. ShoWTimE, can he catch out the Medevac? The terrain does work against him here. We have the unload. And not quite able to catch it. That was close. Oh. Yeah, ShoWTimE doesn't quite get the Cyclone either. Trading a oh, doesn't quite get the rotor either. Oh my god. The pickup. And charge is done, and ShoWTimE, he should be able to collapse on this army. Okay, he's got the better concave, got the better arc. Collapsing in, the brutal mind connections on the zealots. But he should get better tanks. Oh, I spoke too soon. Yeah, I spoke too soon. He bleeds out every single stalker. The target firing here at a Clem. Ay, ay, ay. Clem gets cleaned up, but that was not the worst trade here. He did focus on so many stalkers. That was 9 stalkers going down. Clem is going to be forced back. That was a costly trade here for ShoWTimE. So Clem is taking his third base. ShoWTimE late to take his fourth, but there we go, is now on the way. And Clem does have momentum. Ideally, when it comes to PvT, you do want to retain. You want to retain and build up your stalker count over time. Here we're down to 4 stalkers, so very little to support the main army of ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE is mainly zealots. He's got his Colossus on the way. But ShoWTimE's army is lacking. Oh, and can he save his fourth? He's gonna try, but oh no! Jesus, that was almost a kill. That was almost a kill. The fourth base barely saved. Yeah, 1 more second, 1 more volley from Clem, and he would have focused it down. Clem, he still wants it. Still wants the Nexus. So anyone know the other 2 players in the group? Zoun and Bunny. Zoun and Bunny. It's gonna dust him in, going for the robo. Bold move, won't quite get it. At the same time, jumping in towards that fourth. ShoWTimE so far is keeping up. Nice defense. It's keeping up with the drops. Nice focusing down here with the Marauders. Colossus in position, and Clem cannot find a way in. He's been trying. And it looks like he will get the robo, just barely. Robo goes down, that will delay any Colossus production. But ShoWTimE does hold. ShoWTimE is holding on. At this point, I think it'd be worth getting a second robo as well, just to get into double Colossus production. But now just 1 is being built. There's only 2 Colossus. Yeah, and there it is. A second starport and the Ghost Academy. If you remember, we were criticizing Clem because last game he forgot it. Straight up, he just forgot the academy. Did not get any ghosts. Goes to the round by. This time he will kill the expansion. It's getting out of hand. It's getting a bit out of hand here. Oof. Snaps the base, pulls away. Bleeds out a lot of Marauders in the retreat. True. His drop is cleaned up. And Clem very quickly trying to perfect his army here. We have 3 ghosts being made. Also, Liberator production has already begun as well. This does feel a little bit early, but he's getting there. He's building up into that higher tech army, claiming his 4th expansion. ShoWTimE not in position to delay. As he's double expanding. I mean, his own 4th base was sniped. So rough economy here for ShoWTimE. I'll say actually, Clem, he does have the superior economy. He's got 4 bases, he's actually mining. He's got his mules as well. And things are looking a little bit rough here for ShoWTimE. Another reason why ShoWTimE couldn't really apply any pressure or really push forward was because of his Robo. He's just now getting his 3rd Colossus. And still only has 1 Robo. Still only 1. Clem is almost there. Catching the prism. And I'm just going to be clashing again. There's just not much anti-air here to zone away those Vikings. Clem does turn around. We got the 1 Zealot. Let's go. 7 SCVs. Not bad. Seven SCV kills. Stargate is on the way. Interesting. ShoWTimE thinking about Skytoss. Oh, we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna no. Ooh, that's a nice catch on the Stalkers. Yeah, EP goes off. Vikings, they just go to town the Colossus, and every Colossus should go down. Yeah, ShoWTimE overextends. ShoWTimE overextends. Ooh, leaves out the Disruptors, the Colossus, the everything. And Clem, he can just snowball out of control. GG gets called. Clem, he'll take the fight. He'll tie the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We are going to the ace match again. A much more assertive, much more aggressive Clem here, able to get a lot more momentum, able to pop off with the initial counterattacks with the drop play, sniping the 4th base, sniping the Robo. We tried to emphasize it a little bit, but killing that Robo was a big move. It meant that even though ShoWTimE had an army to work with, because he only had 2 Colossus, he didn't really have the confidence to be active on the map and to stop the 4th expansion. Very often, a lot of this game comes down, or a lot of PvTs come down to the Protoss player gaining map control and containing the Terran player on a lower base count. But as we emphasized, Clem had the better economy. He had the faster 4th base, he had the better economy, he had the larger army as a result. GG. GG, well played. So nice multi-pronged aggression there out of Clem, slowing ShoWTimE down. And now we're getting into the ace match. Getting into the ace match, going to be loading into Tourmaline. I was also a little bit concerned that maybe Clem would be taking up too quickly, but because of the lead that he had, it gave him the freedom to get into Ghost and to get into those Liberators as well. But here we go, we're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player, we have the red Protoss for Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss, so the blue Terran player, sometimes Protoss, but not in this series. Representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Here we go. So we're getting into our TVP, getting into the ace match, and welcome to Tourmaline. We're taking a break from these larger maps. Again, we've had a little more mid-game and mid to late game in both Game 1 and Game 2 between Clem and ShoWTimE, but now we're going to be loading into one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored here, and there's a higher chance that we will see an all-in on Tourmaline. Whether it's an all-in from the Terran player or something like a 4-gate setup out of ShoWTimE. Bearing in mind there's a lot that came into that last game with ShoWTimE initially going 3-gate blink but getting his War Prism sniped, so he couldn't apply pressure, he couldn't move out. A lot that did occur. But once again, 2 games in a row, double gas opener out of Clem. Last game, this led into a 1-1-1 into Cyclone drop, which did contain ShoWTimE. Didn't do any major critical damage except for catching that War Prism, if you recall. That Prism went down early to the Cyclone in the middle of the map. We'll see if Clem goes for it here. Technically, Clem could turn this into a 1-base all-in with a 1-1-1, but that is a rarer sight and typically done by some of the more aggressive players out there, like a Gumiho or Ryung. Clem isn't really one to embrace that. Not typically. Not going to be here for a while. True. At ShoWTimE, he was thinking about SkyToss, but didn't get there. Thankfully. Oh. ShoWTimE does keep his probe hidden. Can always go in for a rescout. No shot we hide any tech here. I mean, if we were to go for a proxy Stargate, for example, I feel like we'd already see a pylon by now. Let's see Reaper breaks in. Reaper is going to get called out. It's a nice movement here by ShoWTimE, keeping that Stalker hidden on the right-hand side. Okay. Baits Clem in. And it is going to be the Twilight Council. Twilight Council is on the way. The probe does go in for the rescout, so there's no proxy. It's on patrol. Gets eyes on the Reaper Hellion. ShoWTimE not quite able to focus. Oh, actually, almost. Doesn't quite get the Hellion. Bleeds out a Stalker. And doesn't quite delay the CC. Yeah, CC does finish up. We'll get some SCV kills, but no major damage yet. Unless there's more Reaper Hellion on the way. ShoWTimE does focus on at least one of the Hellions. Will not quite get the other. Oh, wastes the recall as well. Doesn't make it back home. Yeah, some rough losses here for ShoWTimE. And Clem is rushing across the map. Again, ideally, typically when you go for a Reaper Hellion like this, the goal is for economic damage, just to bust into one of the bases. ShoWTimE, he's walling up the natural. The Reapers can bypass this. Doesn't quite find a way in. At the same time, wouldn't mind drop towards the main. Commands into the main. ShoWTimE does notice. Nice cancellation on the third. Oh. And the drop does get in. The retargeting. It is buying as much time as possible. Finally, the shot goes off, but the damage was done. The third was denied, and that is a massive pickup here. ShoWTime's third base is so delayed, and it doesn't really have anything to speak for it. He's only got 2 gateways. Now he throws down his gas geyser, his forge, now a delayed third expansion. The build here for ShoWTimE is now in flux. His build has been disrupted. And ShoWTimE has to get something done. And sure, he does catch out Heli and a Reaper, but Clem, this initial opener has paid for itself. It's already done damage. Now Clem's getting out of this, into tanks, into bio. Clem is building up. Now, we did mention previously here that because of how small the map is, we often do see all-ins. Clem has the option to maybe even throw down extra Raxes. Keep an eye on him. As Reapers are hit the natural, 2 probes, 3 probes going down. Oof. Some brutal damage. Again, Reapers do not scale well into a longer game, so to trade and to get 3 probes is a nice trade for Clem. ShoWTimE's going for a heavy gateway count. We should be seeing charge soon. I'm hoping we see it soon. Let's get the money for it. Jesus, how many gateways are we getting into? Building up into 8. So 8 gates on the way. Yeah, charge now begins. This is late. ShoWTimE, he had the money for it. He had the money for it for the past minute or so. So late charge, late upgrades. Dives into the main base though. Okay. Oh, doesn't quite deny a concussive shell. But A gets 2 Widow Mines, delays the 3rd CC. As there's a recall back home. Ooh, leading out 2 Stalkers. Oh, and again, we spoke earlier how charge was delayed. It was late. And that's going to come into play. So Clem breaks out across the map. Ideally, ShoWTimE wants to slow this down. This is very committed. And Clem is getting in. Yeah, he's getting in here. Again, this natural is so accessible. Clem within range of the gateway. Gateway goes down. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. Oh. Nice target by Clem. Very nice target. Jesus. 6 pro 7. 7 probes go down. 2 of the Stalkers. Clem, calm down, calm down. And ShoWTimE is hurting. And ShoWTimE failed to catch the tanks. Timing from Clem is terrifying. You can see the disparity here in the army supplies, and a big reason for this is, of course, the trades that Clem has been having, the delay on the 3rd base. Just the macro and the build of ShoWTimE has just been delayed quite heavily this game. And things are looking bleak for ShoWTimE. Now, there are ways to recover in this game. It would be heavily reliant on counterattacks, though, like a War Prism into the main base, a Zealot run by into the natural, Zealot run by into the 3rd. Some kind of counter damage is going to be necessary here to buy time and to, again, equalize the economy in some way. Without those moves, though, it's a difficult position for ShoWTimE. As there's the academy on the way. Again, here in game 3, he does not forget. Let's get his academy, armory for +2. And Clem is just chilling until he maxes out. Well, we spoke about this previously in the series, but this is a very common kind of tactic here in TVP, is that even if you have a lead, just calm down, back off, like build up your Ghosts, build up your Vikings, get a Fusion Core. Clem is just securing himself. As Raven does fall. Nice start for ShoWTimE. As both armies are getting maxed. Again, I do favor Clem's setup here, as he's trying to secure the center expansion. Now again, because ideally ShoWTimE wants to fight out in the open, and this is a much more open location, Clem is taking it slow, getting his planetary, throwing down his turrets. And ideally, Clem wants to force ShoWTimE into him. Speaking of, ShoWTimE is going for it. Yeah, ShoWTimE does go for the dive. This area is more open. Ooh, Maestro goes off. Using EMPs. Yeah, Colossus are too far behind. Zealots are being cleaned up. The Colossus, they're going down. And Clem is on it. Yeah, Clem is on it. He breaks the main army. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the winners match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem in the end baiting ShoWTimE into a better fight for Clem. As you mentioned, ShoWTimE wanted to fight out in the open. Clem wanted to bait him into more SimCity, into a more controlled area. GG. GG, well played. I don't necessarily blame ShoWTimE for going for it just because ShoWTimE was behind. He was in a worse position. He didn't have the better economy. He didn't have the army momentum that you typically want as a Protoss player coming into the mid game. Things were looking dire there for ShoWTimE. GG. GG, well played. I just went for it, and in the end, it could not quite break Clem. Could not break him. And with that, Clem does advance on into the winners match. ShoWTimE is knocked down to the elimination match instead, and we'll see who will face off against these two players. Remember, this is a 4-player group. It is a GSL group. It's Clem, ShoWTimE, alongside our next pairing, Zoun and Bunny, as they're going to be facing off in another TVP. Another Terran versus Protoss. Here we go. Now, I do expect to see a very different kind of TVP. Typically, Zoun and Bunny are a lot more active, a lot more aggressive. I say that Bunny in recent times has been forced to play this slower mid game. We have seen that a little bit more of Bunny over the past couple of weeks, but typically, traditionally, he is a lot more of an aggressive player. We'll see though. We'll see what kind of maps we load into and where we end up. Oh. As we load into one of the more commonly vetoed maps in the map pool, up next going to be loading into Taito Citadel. Okay, we'll get into one of the reasons why this is often vetoed and often not seen. It might even factor in. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Team Vitality. It is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the red Terran for Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Here we go. As our players do settle in. And again, welcome to Taito Citadel. Taito Citadel is an interesting map in the map pool. It does have more spread out bases. Defending your 3rd, your 4th base, your 5th base can be very difficult to keep up with aggressive rotations as a defending player. But the other big factor is the gold expansion. Usually on maps like this does heavily favor Protoss players. The reason for that is it is a lot more common for Protoss players to gain map control to contain the Terran. And if that's the case here on Taito Citadel, that means that the Protoss gets a free gold. So they're able to capitalize on that advantage even further. So as a result, we often do see more aggressive builds. Speaking of it, double gas opener from Bunny, faster factory. We'll see if this leads into Cyclone drops. We'll see if this leads into potentially Banshee base play or faster starports. We'll keep an eye on Bunny. But yes, this gold base does give Protoss a massive boost, typically in TVP in the mid game. So we'll see how Bunny will approach. Sorry, just opening up the window. It's getting very hot. Very hot here in Australia. Ah. We'll make it, baby. We'll make it. Is the one vet fund an actual rabbit? So are we sending our favorite IC2 player off? You saying we're sending Bunny off to the vet? Oh no. No, yes, we have the actually hold on. I got you. Exclamation mark Bunny can. Yes, we have two pet bunnies. Two pet bunnies. Chi-Chi and Karina. Chi-Chi and Karina. Not to be confused with Korean bunny. True, true. Or Danish bunny. Also true. Not to be confused. As Bunny does open up Reaper Hellion, he's going for a starport follow-up at the same time as Zoun going to be opening up with a Twilight Council. Very safe play to Zoun. You can see safety shield battery in the main base, safety shield battery here at the natural as well. So very safe play here by Zoun, considering he didn't really get to see too much. He didn't see the gases necessarily, did not confirm the CC timing. Hallucination will now give him the information he's been looking for. So now he confirms the CC is not yet done, the starport is. Gets eyes on the add-ons as well. And we'll see if Bunny can break into a mineral line. Oh. Does dive into the main. We'll lose one of the Hellions in the process. Again, we have that safety shield battery, so it does come into play. And Bunny won't get anything done. Yes. No. Yeah, the Reaper is one of them will escape. The Hellion gets a couple of volleys, but the shield battery ensures that nothing goes down. And in the end, it was worth it. Typically, it's a little bit inefficient to invest as heavily into early game defenses, but no, it was worth it. Zoun, he doesn't sustain any losses. You can see here, not losing a single unit. Zoun kills 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers, and now Zoun can take a third. So very nice start here out of Zoun. Bunny going for the follow-up with a mine drop. And honestly, there's a lot of pressure here on Bunny to get some value, to get some kind of value here. As the drop does make its way into the main. Oh no, does try to get in. Barely does survive. But the Woodermines are in an awkward position. Yeah, mine shot goes off, doesn't kill anything. Thankfully, one Woodermine does get out. But this has been a really rocky start for Bunny. We'll see. We'll see when Zoun loses a unit. That's what I'm concerned by. As Bunny will lose one of his Widow Mines, he doesn't kill a single probe. The second mine and the drop itself is going to be zoned back. So the early game aggression here for Bunny just has not paid for itself, hasn't gotten any value. Now this is still building up towards a stim timing at least. Like again, we're still building up in towards that later aggression. But usually you want to be in a better position for that. Zoun, he's fanning out. Catching out the Reaper. Behind this we have the Bay on the way for Colossus production. Zoun, he's getting there. Este pecoeta. Calm down, papi, calm down. About to get a foot of snow. Oh my god. Protect your feet, papi. Protect your feet. As the mine drop moves back out. Here comes Bunny. Remember, this is lined up with Stim. Stim is finishing up in a couple of seconds. Gets one, gets two. Ooh, 2 Stalkers go down. Zoun was distracted. Finally, Zoun taking some damage. Not a bad start for Bunny. As Bunny is pushing. It's going to be on Zoun to engage ahead of time. We have 2 tanks. We have 4 Marauders. Two with the main army. Ooh, Zoun does actually miss the main army. Uh-oh. Yeah, tanks are sieging up. Zoun in an awkward position. Oh no, does miss rally into tank fire. And he will lose the third base. Yeah, third base goes down. Zoun, he's struggling here. Let's try to engage. Once again, nice kiting here by Bunny. And Bunny doesn't need to keep pushing. He's already got what he wanted. He got his third base. Now we can back off, get a pylon, pull away, and get further ahead. Oh. At the same time, nice run by here. Does he force a cancel? He does. Zoun does get the cancellation. But who do we favor here? Two base versus two base. Better position for Bunny. Like, Bunny is in a better position. He's got the stronger economy, the larger army. Again, Zoun had a very nice early game, but everything kind of went south when Bunny pushed out. We saw that Zoun, he bled out two Stalkers. Ideally, when it comes to these pushes, the Protoss player needs to slow this down, but Zoun was out of position. If you remember, he was out of position. He was moving here on the right-hand side. He missed the main army. He got caught with his pants down. The pants were down. Oof. Cancel on the fourth base. Again, the third is non-existent. And Zoun can't quite keep up. Oh my god! as the War Prism goes down. Prism goes down, which means Bunny doesn't have to worry about a counterattack. Doesn't have to leave supply back at home. So he does commit in. Oof, missile goes off. And missile goes off. Bunny pushing further forward, and Zoun, he is in trouble here. Zoun getting desperate, going for the gold. Very ambitious. Very ambitious. Bunny once again just taking it slow. There's no need to overreact. There's no need to overextend. Just pulls away, consolidates his army, and getting ready for the next wave. So 5's going to be 7 Vikings. Bunny's almost maxed out. Zalse hit the third base. Bunny's in position. Shuts down the Zeller run by. Zoun, sure, he's getting his golds up and running like he just recalled over. Ugh. Now, technically, if Bunny's too passive, then this go base can pay for itself. True, true. If Bunny's too passive. But he's, as I say that, he's pushing it. Like he's already here. He's pushing into the third. Tanks are moving forward. There is a disruptor. There he goes off. And no major connection. Zoun going for a massive Zeller run by. Okay. Bunny's maxed out. So back at home, he doesn't really have much to defend. Bunny's distracted. We'll lose one of the tanks. One tank left. And Zalse getting damage done, but at the same time, Zoun, he will lose his third. Third base does full. Zalse catching reinforcements. Ooh, as Ghost just rallying in. Uh-oh. Ghost rallying to the death, so a messy defense here by Bunny, but he will still defend. Lands of Vikings, we just see Zoun. Yeah, he's still stuck on 2 bases. His gold is helping, true. No shot. The gold is helping, and Bunny doesn't know. You can see Bunny has vision on the left-hand side with the Wintermine. He just scanned here for the third base. Bunny thinks he's further ahead. That's going to be 27 SCVs. And hopefully he checks the golds. Hopefully. 30 SCVs go down to the Zalarambai. Again, very messy defense here by Bunny. Bunny now knows. Better engage. Yeah, better engage for Bunny. And the score base is going to be cleaned up. But we're getting messy. Getting messy. Took a long time for this goal to be found. Zoun is going for the base trade. He's going for the base trade. This is the best case scenario for Zoun. He caused a lot of chaos. Again, that Zalarambai killed 30 SCVs. Bunny should have been in a better position. And Bunny's racing home. He's out of position. He's out of position. Oof. Este Bunny. Bunny turns back around. Zoun building on more disruptors, which means he can take a bit of fight. As Bunny's rotating, you can see he's down triple expanding, by the way. He's taking his linear third, his triangle third, and his linear fourth base. Triple expanding, nice. Oh, armor shred. Armor shred goes off, clipping the army. So Bunny does have to respect those Novas. Pulls away, nice EMPs. EMPs goes off. The Novas, they will connect. The tank goes down. And still very clutch, very messy. The Viking count gets completely reset. Colossus, they reign supreme. And Zoun is holding. Yeah, Zoun, he does hold. Shuts down the Viking, shuts down the tanks, even catching the final ghost. Oh. No. The final ghost goes down. And again, Bunny was in such a good position here. But again, the goal base took so long for him to find it. It did pay for itself. He just scanned, he just saw the new third. Zoun, he saved his fourth base as well. And Zoun is taking a lead. Zoun is taking a lead. Remember, in that fight, he retained the disruptors, he retained the Colossus, he retained his high-tech units. Bunny did not. Zoun catches out more Marauders. At the same time, Bunny does get across the map. There's a recall. It's a recall back home. Bunny just cannot find any damage. And Bunny's bleeding out too much. He's just bleeding out too much at this point. And there's only two Vikings. GG gets called, and Zoun, he does take game number one. He takes a lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, a very intense back and forth. Honestly, Bunny was ahead. He had a lead. Bunny was in a better position. Bunny, he killed the third base. He killed the third base. He was containing Zoun. He had a better economy, a larger army to work with as well. How did Zoun recover in this game? Two things. One, the Zealot Run-By. If you remember, that Zealot Run-By killed 30 SCVs. It took Bunny a long time to deal with it. It looked like he wasn't really focusing or paying too much attention to his defense back at home. It was bleeding out a lot of units. He was leaving Zealots idle as well, and those Zealots, they killed so many SCVs. On top of that, the gold base, it was a really cheeky move out of Zoun to go for the gold, and he was able to saturate, able to build it up, able to have it pay for itself, even more than pay for itself, and get ahead in that way instead. We saw that Bunny, he believed he was containing his opponent on 2 bases when really he was on 3. Really, he had a gold. GG. GG, well played. So cheeky moves there by Zoun. He does come back. He does recover. Very impressive comeback there. And we'll see if he can claim the series here and now, or if Bunny can force the ace match. Let's go. I'm going to be loading into Ruby Rock, one of these smaller maps, a much smaller map than map pool. Aggression is typically favored here. Eyes are going to be on Bunny. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the South Korean Protoss. We have the Blue Protoss leading the series 1-0. For Team Vitality, it is Zoun. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player for Team Falcons. It is Bunny. That's gonna be a short one. As Zoun moves in, I don't know if you saw the camera, I don't know if you saw the camera location earlier, but yep, Zoun, he made a beeline here towards the linear third location. Zoun is going for the proxy. He's going for the proxy. Currently, Bunny is in the dark. We'll see if Bunny goes for a double gas opener again. He went for a double gas opener last game. If he does go for it here, he'll be able to have an easier defense. We'll see. So we have the proxy 2 gates. Bunny does go for the second gas. Okay. So what does this mean? So because we have a second gas geyser for Bunny, that means that Bunny is going to be prioritizing his factory. Yes, his CC is going to be delayed, that is true, but with a faster factory, that means just faster units, a higher unit count, I should say, earlier on, and Bunny should be able to have the tools to defend here against what Zoun is going for. Should have the tools. We'll see if Bunny goes for the low ground CC. If he goes for the low ground command center, then there is a chance that Zoun could even force a cancel. True, that can still happen. Bunny going reactor first. Ooh, okay. Let's go reactor first. Here come the first wave of zealots. Remember, the cybercore is still on the way, so you cannot make any stalkers or adepts or anything like that. Has to be zealot initially, followed by the stalkers. So we got a hybrid come into play here by Zoun. Zoun, he didn't scout up the ramp. We have our reactor Reaper Hellion. Bunny is going for the low ground CC. So we'll see if Zoun can delay and maybe even force a cancel. Zoun is waiting for his stalkers. They're being chronoed as we speak. Zealots are moving in. And now Bunny knows. Yep, instant cancel. Instant cancellation. Again, if we had the high ground CC instead, then it would have continued. Bunny going for the bunker. Does pull a couple of boys here to repair. Oh. So, nice control. Control as well, keeps Reaper alive. Oh, some Marines are being targeted. Oh, the bunker! No! Yeah, we never had any Reaper aggression on the bunker. Some Marines are being focused down. The bunker will not finish. SCVs are falling. This is getting out of hand. Yeah, this is getting out of hand. Too much damage here. The Cyclone will shut this down eventually. But does he get the Depot? He does! Oof, Depot falls. 7 SCV kills, getting up to 8, getting up to 9. 8, 9, 10 SCVs going down. This is becoming critical damage. Stalker breaks the lock-on. Cleans up every Marine. Oof. And this is too much. 13 dead SCVs. 13 SCV kills. And now Bunny, he has potential to counterattack. He has got his Cyclone. I never mind Zoun making adepts. He can just keep shading, keep threatening. And Bagadome is taking up. The Natural's halfway done. We have the Twilight Council on the way for Blink. And Bunny's down to 14 SCVs. 14 SCVs and no command center in sight. He's going for the starport, essentially forcing into all one base all in. Door opens, they continue. They continue back. So you're just focusing on the Marines. Not the most ideal trade for Zoun, losing his Stalkers. But I mean, does trade nonetheless. The lack of gateways back at him is a little bit concerning. And he's got to warp in. So Zoun is down to 1 gateway. That is all the production he has, by the way. 1 gateway. Did decide to go for the Twilight Council. So Zoun can warp in 1 unit at a time. Bunny, can he punish? With 2 Cyclones, he can. 100%. Oh boy. It was a nice start for Zoun, but can he hold on? His first lock-on. Lock-on gets broken. Tank is on the way. Speaking of, the tank is here. And here comes Bunny with his one base all in. Again, remember, he chose not to expand, chose not to get the CC. At the same time, Zoun chose not to get a robo. Ooh, tank volley is going off, getting one of the Stalkers. Gets two. Two Stalkers go down. At the same time, Zoun did snipe the tank. Boys are being pulled. Oof. Yeah, messy defense here out of Zoun, but Zoun, he might just barely be able to hold on. He's got his shield batteries. Oh my god. Yeah, barely has his shield batteries here. He does almost focus on the Cyclone. Nice juggling out of Bunny, but he's down to one Cyclone. There's the NG overcharge. NG overcharge pops up. Tars running Avenge. He's down to 3, soon to be 4 Stalkers. There is another tank. Another tank has arrived. Blink is almost done. Uh oh. Yeah, Blink finishing up in 5 seconds. Zoun is going for the dive. Blinks in. Does 2-shot. 2 shots of tanks, and with that Zoun, he will clean this up. There's no more tanks, no more Cyclones. Oh my god. And Medevac goes down, and Zoun, he will be advancing on. GG gets called. Zoun will take the series 2-0, advancing on to the winners match. GG. GG, well played. Again, Zoun achieved so much damage early on. Unfortunately, Bunny, he was unable to finish up his bunker, so he bled out so many Marines trying to defend. Without a Marine count, the Stalkers maintained their position, killed so many SCVs, and by the end, he had lost, what, 13 SCVs? It was insane damage, stuck in one base as well, forced into a one base all-in. There was potential with the one base all-in. Thankfully for Bunny, there was no defensive robo, and there was only one gateway back at home that was powered, so it was still a very, very close hold. There was potential where Bunny could have maybe won that game, but barely not. GG. GG well played, barely was unable to. And with that, Zoun will advance on into the winners match. Here we go. Does advance on, and with that, we can catch up on the bracket itself. Un momento, baby. Here we go. So once again, this is a GSL group, and we do have our confirmed players making it through into the winners match and into the elimination match as well. We have our matchups here. It's going to be Clem versus Zoun. Clem versus Zoun in the winners match. The winner of that series will advance on into the playoffs. The loser will go down to the decider match. They still have another life, still have another chance. Meanwhile, we do have our next series here. It is going to be the elimination match, ShoWTimE and Bunny. That is to determine the first player to be knocked out of the group, and to be knocked out of the tournament. Oh boy. Here we go. Up first is going to be the elimination match, so we do have a PvT ahead of us here. It's going to be ShoWTimE versus Bunny. It's going to be a rematch, actually. If you remember, Bunny did defeat ShoWTimE relatively recently in the, I want to say, WardyTV Monday tournament from 2 weeks ago. So did bring him down recently. Can he do it again? Oh boy. Elimination match. Sorry, I'm just setting up. Just setting up the players. Beautiful. Okay. We have the players, we have the series. Once again, it's going to be pure PvTs tonight, by the way. It's it's going to be pure PvTs. We might get a mirror matchup at some point. True. Might get a mirror matchup, but for now, we're jumping in and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Title Citadel. We have the blue Protoss player. We have the German Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. We go. Here we go, as we're getting into our fresh series, fresh best of 3. Bunny just went down to Zoun, ShoWTimE just went down to Clem. Coming into this, I do lean towards ShoWTimE based on what we saw so far. At the same time, I also understand that Bunny did actually defeat ShoWTimE recently, so Bunny has proven his worth as of late as well. We'll see where this takes us, as Bunny does open up double gas. So double gas opener, a faster factory out of our Terran player. Delayed CC, same opener we saw last game on the same map. Oh, sorry, different map. But same opener. Welcome once again to Title Citadel. We did mention at the time, leading up to the game itself, and actually did come into play, the gold. The gold typically does favor Protoss players. It's much more common for the Protoss to gain map control. I will say that this was more of a Hail Mary play out of Zoun. It wasn't like he had controlled the map and then got further ahead. No, Zoun was desperate. Zoun was desperate to take a lead, desperate to recover, and the gold base did play a factor there. But after that series, I'm sure the Bunny's going to be a little more attentive. I'm sure he will be a little more attentive to checking and confirming whether or not the gold base has been taken. Settling in. So don't bully the bunny, I know. I see the chat. Sorry, I was a little bit focused on the games themselves, so I didn't get to see the chats. I see Lazy to Este, top in. Bienvenidos. Did I cast Group A? Yes, I casted Group A yesterday. VOD is on YouTube. Looks like they nerfed the Dorito cannon exactly 3 years ago from today. Can't believe it's been that long since last. I thought it was the last patch. No, yeah, it's been a while. I don't blame you. Like, especially when it comes to recent years, I feel like a lot of the years kind of blend together. Like specifically because of COVID, right? Like 2020, 2021, 2022 all kind of blends together. Bunny looks to try to make his way in, but alas, the army's in position. Sentry as well for the force field, and Bunny does not take the bait. Doesn't take the bait, pulls away. How many gateways do we have? 3 gates in total toward the natural one of the main, so 3 gate blink. Reaper's poke in, and Bunny does confirm all 3 gates. So Bunny, he's aware of the gateway counts. ShoWTimE, he does not get a robo though, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's no robo alongside this. There's no war prism. A safer start, but it looks like ShoWTimE is going for the 3rd base before the robo. Okay. So just a safe opener. Into his expansion. Bunny still has map control, and we'll see what he can get done. You have a mine jump on the left, Reapers on the right. It's up to ShoWTimE to keep up. Catching on the probe, Wood Mine jump into the mineral line. ShoWTimE does react. Does pull away. Gets 2 probe kills. 3 even. Medevac does get away. Blink is not yet done. And so far, not bad. Like, not bad damage here by Bunny. Picks off a couple of workers. Saves both Widow Mines true. That's the most important part. So, actually a better trade for Bunny. Much better. As he pulls out. And again, he's working towards his eventual stim timing. Stim has now begun. So stim, tank production, eventually Bunny will push out. Yeah, we did cast Group A yesterday, and we should be casting Group C this evening. So Group B this morning, Group C this evening, and Group D should be tomorrow. Again, 4 groups, back to back to back to back. Oh, the StarCraft. As ShoWTimE is opting to go for a gateway explosion, there are some Protoss players that go for a faster attack. I will say that this robo is very late, very late robo, and if we had seen something like Banshee committed play or something requiring detection, then ShoWTimE would be in trouble. But again, instead he's going for a delayed robo, a heavier gate count into mass zealots into delayed splash damage. This is a bit of an older school style. I say older school like I'm referring to 2024, last year. We saw this a lot last year pre-patch in the previous map pool. Bunny does move out. Charge is going to be done in time. And this move out is looking terrifying. The scariest thing about this is that ShoWTimE is not there to slow it down. Typically, the Protoss player wants to be there to force the early siege. But late reaction. Yeah, late reaction out of ShoWTimE. Late scouts. Ooh, armor shred pops off. Nice. Force fields though. Very nice. Yeah, locks down the Marines, locks down the army, trying to get on top of the tanks as well. And ShoWTimE looks like he will take down both tanks. One more volley. Tanks are picked up. And ShoWTimE is holding. ShoWTimE is holding on. There's one more mine shot left. But now we have more zealots, more reinforcements. And again, ShoWTimE defends with a very cheap army. Bleeding out mainly zealots. Losing mainly zealots, losing a sentry. Shuts down Bunny. And that is the strength of going for this high gateway count. The reason why we saw this so much last year and the year before that is because we saw a lot more committed 2-base play. Oh, and this is what's scary. This is what's terrifying about this map. ShoWTimE, he gains map control. He strips that away from Bunny. Bunny is stuck at home, and ShoWTimE immediately goes for the gold. Gold base is on the way, and this will get ShoWTimE even further ahead. It's going to have a boosted economy, and Bunny's stuck at home. He needs to be active, he needs to do something, but this is one of the reasons why Title Citadel is often vetoed in this matchup. Oh, they are catching a Stalker, catching two. Two Stalkers go down. Late reactions out of ShoWTimE. Okay. Nice start. Bunny needs to get more done. Easy Protoss. I mean, once again, if I didn't make it clear, ShoWTimE technically went for an inefficient follow-up here. I'm expecting that Bunny would be overly aggressive, and it worked, right? Like Bunny, he was very committed to that push. ShoWTimE, that's why he had gone for a heavy gateway count to begin with. That's why he had delayed his Colossus. Otherwise, it would have been a much more difficult defense. So ShoWTimE able to shut Bunny down. Bunny does move out. Spots the gold. At least he's aware, but I don't know if he can do much about it. This Bunny's going to be forced back. Again, Bunny's taking up into Ghosts. As he moves out, Prism is moving in. Gets past the turret. Bunny, he does race everything back home. Oh god. A bit of an F2. F2 is back. Does kill the Prism. Prism goes down, Zealous as well. This doesn't really get much done, but it does distract Bunny. Does cause a major distraction. It allows this gold base to pay for itself. It's been up and running for quite some time. And now ShoWTimE has splash damage. Now he's got 2, soon to be 3 Colossus. Now he's got +3 on the way, extended double lance as well. Again, Bunny knows he has to find some damage. Technically, he either has to break the gold or maybe peel off some units to go for some drop play. But looks like he wants to centralize everything here at the gold. Let's go to ZPs. Still holding on to them. It's got 5 ghosts. 5 ghosts, 5 EMPs. Getting up to 8 Vikings. It's a decent Viking count. ShoWTimE just collapses in. Yeah, just going for the dive. ShoWTimE is almost maxed. Zealots they tank well. Vikings, they will get one Colossus. Gets one, may get another. Oh, a little bit lopsided here for ShoWTimE. Yeah, the Colossus that were too far back, gonna lose almost every single one. Needs more Zealots. The final Colossus falls. So nice pick also with that bunny, he's going to overwhelm. Yeah, he's going to overwhelm and does fight back. Again, the Colossus that were too far behind, they were catching, they were engaging with reinforcements. So waste the splash damage. And Bunny has done it. He has broken the base. Broken the expansion. No more Colossus, no Storm, no Disruptors, no nothing. Bunny, he will break the gold. And he can just keep pushing. He can just keep on pushing here. This is one of the downsides of relying on this kind of splash damage, of course, is that ShoWTimE only has one robot. He only has one robot. He can only make one Colossus at a time, so he cannot rebuild, he cannot remax. Momentum is heavily in favor of Bunny. Losing one fight like that can be detrimental. And now Bunny's rotating. He's rotating over. He's going for the last remaining 4th base. We do see ShoWTimE trying to get a 5th. How many Vikings left over? Only 4. But there's only one Colossus. True. Stalker's run away. Yep, there's a cancellation. ShoWTimE cannot expand. Bunny claims his 4th. Claiming his own 4th base. Bunny getting further ahead. Now, there's potential here for ShoWTimE. He's in a really rough position, but he has Disruptors, right? With some well-placed Novas, he can swing a fight in his favor. Likewise, he has potential to go for a Zealot Run-By or a Zealot Counterattack or any kind of War Prism Harass as well. But he's a little more heavily reliant on those Novas. Oh, gets a Ghost. Okay. Gets a free Ghost. Catching out some of those Marauders. So initially a better trade for ShoWTimE. Oof. Spotty bleeds out a lot of units here. Ay, bleeding out so much. Yeah, Ghost getting caught out, Marauders as well. We can see ShoWTimE trying to press the issue. He's running out of Zealots. No, yeah, he cannot stand and fight. He cannot stand and fight. At ShoWTimE, he will lose everything. Ay. Yeah, ShoWTimE, a massive overextension. You saw how well the fight was going initially by ShoWTimE until he ran out with Zealots. Like, until he ran out of Zealots. And once he was running out of Zealots, that was the key moment to pull back. And he kept going. ShoWTimE kept going. ShoWTimE kept pushing. So a big overextension. And once again, he lost everything. Disruptors, Colossus, the Stalkers, more importantly. Or, I mean, again, that there's something that you don't want to be replacing. Oof. ShoWTimE still cannot expand. And again, I want to say twice now, we've seen ShoWTimE just be a little bit too overconfident. It's just been too overconfident. So that in the fight here earlier when he kind of got caught almost concaved, almost sandwiched with reinforcements on the main army. And here when he kept pushing after losing all his Zealots. So he's just confirming. Still no gold. Still no gold base. Getting into 3-3. Yeah, nice EMPs on the Colossus. Yo, we got some juggling. He does preserve the Colossus as best he can, but there are just so many Vikings. They shut down the Colossi. Bunny has to kite back, has to respect those zealots. Yeah, kites back. Fun fact, the Colossus lived. Yeah, they survived the Vikings. Aye. The Colossus made it. We're getting messy. Getting messy here. But this is maybe the quote-unquote best fight that we've seen so far to ShoWTimE, just because he walks away with his Colossus still standing. He retained all 3 Colossi, which is pretty huge. Which is massive. So he's reinforcing with Archons. Oh, barely pulls away in time. And now we're getting to the stage where these bases, they can now like replenish the army. Again, there's very little gas income here for ShoWTimE. That's why it's so important that whenever he loses his zealots, he backs off, as those are the units he wants to replace, warping in 11 zealots at a time. And slowly building up that disruptor count. So ShoWTimE, he is, I don't know if I want to say perfecting his army, but his army is improving over time. It's improving. More disruptors. Bunny taking his 5th base. That's the main, by the way. Floats over the main. Gets a 5th. Now, what is Bunny missing? Liberators. At this stage of the game, especially when getting a 5th expansion, there should be a Fusion Core. Fusion Core, Liberator Range, and maybe even a 3rd starport. Without Liberators, without that anchor point for the army, I do favor ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, he does hug the edge of the map. Bunny, he doesn't know. Bunny pushing through the center. ShoWTimE coming in for a backstab. Base raid? Oh. Let's go! Yes, Bunny hits the center base, and ShoWTimE commits to the base raid. Remember, ShoWTimE noise recall. The base raid is upon us, and we gotta commit. Oh, never mind. Bunny turns around. Ooh, he's racing back. Yeah, Bunny is racing back home. ShoWTimE has the high ground. He's got his disruptors. As Vikings, they lead the charge. Never goes off. Oh, he a little bit premature. Yeah, trigger happy play there by ShoWTimE. Does waste his Nova. Colossus are going down to the Vikings, and ShoWTimE has to get the hell out of here. He's going to be forced to stand and fight. Going to try to slip away. We'll lose both of his disruptors. Disruptors go down. Colossus goes down as well. Again, ShoWTimE had potential to take over that ramp, but I wasn't quite able to. He got nervous. He got too excited. Nice counterattack. Casting reinforcements. Oh, and this time Bunny commits. Okay. This time Bunny commits. We're going for the base raid. I mean, to be fair, ShoWTimE doesn't really have much to base trade with. There's not much of an army. A lot of supply for ShoWTimE are in workers. There's a planetary here on the left-hand side as well. The planetary cannot be touched. Yeah, Bunny has too much. Bunny has far too much here. His army is massive. As he's finding more bases. Knocking out more expansions. We tried to recall. Trying to save what he can. 20 probes still go down. Alright, what does ShoWTimE have? No disruptors. Oof. Yeah, mainly a gateway composition. There's a scan revealing some of ShoWTimE's army. ShoWTimE about to be sandwiched. Now we have the Liberators. Now we have the Freedom. And ShoWTimE is getting caught. He's getting caught out. Does have the Ghosts. Ghosts are going to go down. EMP still land. And ShoWTimE will lose everything here. He's got a couple of DTs. ZG gets called, and Bunny takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, a very intense back and forth here between ShoWTimE and Bunny. They both had their own moments. They both both were kind of had their own leads at certain points. I will say that ShoWTimE did overextend twice, if you recall. There were these two big moments where ShoWTimE had a lead and did lose that lead, where he maybe was overly ambitious, overly confident in his army, pushed out too hard, and kept pushing. There was a lot that happened on the left-hand side when he tried to defend his gold base, when he engaged and kept pushing, and then he got flanked by reinforcements. The Colossus got caught in a awkward position and ShoWTimE lost everything. Then again on the right hand side, when ShoWTimE pushed out, when he actually initially took a better fight, he was trading well, then lost all of his zealots, and then kept pushing, then lost all of his stalkers and Colossus as well, right? Like that core of his army is so vulnerable. The stalker Colossus based composition is so vulnerable, so fragile. You need that buffer. Without it, you got to get the hell out of there, and kept going in. Kept pushing. GG, well played. With that, Bunny had a very impressive comeback. And now we're getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into Winter Madness, one of the larger maps of the map pool. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player, the South Korean Terran representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Go. Here we go. So we're getting into game number 2 here, and Bunny does have a lead. We'll see. Oh God! Jesus! Oh. It happens to the best of us. As Bunny, in the midst of boxing, did accidentally click on one of the patches and did drag everything away. So a shaky start here for Bunny. A little bit shaky. Well, we gotta look in, Pappy. Gotta look in. As Bunny's going for a double gas opener. Hate it when that happens. Yeah, it's happens to the best of us, Pappy. Yeah. From here again, faster factory, faster second gas, delayed CC. With this, we can go into reactor Reaper Hellion, and so far it looks like that will be the case. Getting into our early game aggression. If you recall, Zoun had a really good time against this opener just because he had a safety shield battery in both mineral lines, and Zoun just shut him down. Got my attention. ShoWTimE does move out, so we're not making additional Reapers and not going into Hellion production either. Okay, so it's going to be the double gas opener into faster Cycler. ShoWTimE moves into scouts. Does confirm the later CC, does get eyes on the starport, does not see the add-ons on the factory, but he saw the Marines, which is to tell that gas is being spent elsewhere. True. So he knows it's not a reactor Reaper Hellion. Has at least a better idea. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Flipper Flatjack in the chat. God, baby God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for gifting a sub to Fractal Cactus. As everything's happening at once, a big shout out to Cian as well. Fala galera, papi. Fala galera. Bom dia. Bom dia. Obrigado. Thank you so much for the raid. Cian, of course, is a Brazilian caster, so thank you so much. Hope you had a great time. Hope you had a great ladder session or casting session. Hope you had a great time. Bienvenidos, bienvenidos. Good to see you. And also a shout out to Flapjack for the 100 bits. For the 100 bits. Again, it all just happened at once. But thank you, baby, thank you. Appreciate the bits, the sub, and the raid. Much love, papi, much love. Estes, yeah. Meanwhile, Bunny's hyper committed. This is a build that we've seen a lot from players like Clem, players like Cure, players like Byun. But Bunny's going to be going for the tank after the factory, going to be loading up, dropping immediately, and reinforcing with Vikings. You might be thinking, like, Viking production this early on, what's going on? Landed Vikings actually support the army quite heavily. They trade very, very well against early gateway units. So again, Bunny's going to be rallying everything across the map. This is a borderline all-in. If he fails to get damage done, he falls behind. Because we're delaying stim, we're delaying upgrades, we're delaying everything in favor of this push, and he's already here. ShoWTimE, he failed to engage. ShoWTimE, he failed to engage ahead of time. He failed to slow this down. The tank is already within range, and these two gateways will go down. Blink is done. Okay, Blink is done. He's going for the dive. He's going for the dive. The tank is going to be targeted. Does get the tank, does get the cyclone. Messy engage here, but ShoWTimE should clean this up. Stalkers are being focused down. Oof. It does lose more Stalkers, down to what, 3 Stalkers left. Viking has arrived, but at least he got the tank, right? What's important here is the tank did go down. Oh my god. ShoWTimE in the face of this just expanding. Yeah, no fear here. As ShoWTimE Blink is done, so he will defend. He will clean this up. He shouldn't lose any additional Stalkers, as that's going to be 3 more Stalkers going down. Oof. We have Blink. Calm down, baby, calm down. So messy defense, but ShoWTimE holds. ShoWTimE, he holds on, able to expand, able to defend. I get a very clutch, very intense couple of moments here. As Bunny is cleaned up. And remember, we spoke about it earlier, but the upgrades are going to be delayed. Delayed upgrades. Delayed setup. Oh, let's go. Let's go to 2 Vikings. Bunny can still maintain the position on the high ground. Bunny shouldn't counterattack. He's at risk of losing this if he does push out. Oh, he's going. Okay. Never. I thought it was going to go to the halfway mark, but no. Bunny, he's committing a little bit harder here. This is a very bold move. I mean, ShoWTimE is investing into spending money on shield batteries on the base itself. When we needed more warpins. Shield batteries are being denied. And ShoWTimE, does he have enough? Does he have one of the tanks? Nice spread. 1 tank goes down. 1 tank left. More reinforcements on the way. Yeah, Bunny might just have too much. ShoWTimE might have just been too greedy here. It's getting close. We're bringing more Stalkers. Getting an extra warp in, coming in from behind. Does focus on the first tank. Gets 1, gets 2. Whew, gets both tanks, and with that, ShoWTimE is holding. And this was a big overextension from Bunny. We spoke about it, but I was shocked that Bunny went for that second push. He went for the second wave. Bunny would lose everything. And now he's down to 0 tanks. Now, as opposed to what he should have had 2 tanks to defend. Now he has 0 tanks back at home. No bunker either. ShoWTimE has momentum. And it's going to be a tough hold, if not impossible. Remember, these are vanilla Marines. There's no stim. There's no upgrades. ShoWTimE still has to respect the SCVs as we go to be surrounded. Big Marine stim is done in 10 seconds. Some Marines are falling. Oof. Still Marines going down. Nice dodge on the mine. There's 1 wood to my left. There we go. Stim is now done. He stims in. Yeah, it does stim forward. Stalkers, they pull away in time. They're focused on the Marauders, and this is still critical damage here. Even if Bunny holds on, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to, as more Zealots do rally in. Oof. Forcing friendly fire. Gets another Marauder. 5 SCVs. And ShoWTimE's getting a 4th. He's getting a 4th expansion. Bunny just now trying to land his 3rd. So a very difficult defense here for Bunny. Does hold on, does defend, does survive. But again, punished for that second push. Was punished. Now ShoWTimE getting into his own upgrades. Storm is finishing up as well. This time ShoWTimE is not going to Colossus, at least not yet. Already has High Templar ready and waiting. And here the supply does lie. ShoWTimE, once his 4th base kicks in, ShoWTimE should take a supply lead, as he has the superior economy and can soon focus on warpins. So 9 gateways, Prism has arrived. Yep, here comes the push. And this is going to be a very difficult defense for Bunny. ShoWTimE is going to have 7 High Templar. It's a lot of Templar, it's a lot of Storms. Looks like he's peeling off for potentially a Storm drop. Yep, Storm drop into the mineral line. Deny some mining, but no major damage. Oof. Going for another Storm. Now he's pushing in. So Prism does pull away. Does pull back, does pull away. These SCVs are getting caught out. Oh no, they do not get out. Massive Eagles, 25 SCV kills. Oh, we have the EMPs. Some decent EMPs. Another EMP lands. No more Storms. And no Storms left over, but there's still a lot of Zealots. And ShoWTimE is just going to commit in. Yeah, he commits in. Cleans up the minefield. Moving in with 2 more High Templar. Yeah, Templar have arrived. Storm, like massive Storm on the army. Ah, no. Yeah, the Storm lands, and it looks like the Marauders should be focused down. Barely saved by the Medivacs. Prism, get out of here. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and ShoWTimE ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. We're going to that final game of this series, and we'll see how this story ends. Winding it back, again, we saw a hyper-aggressive build out of Bunny, going for a 1-1-1 early tank drop into Viking reinforcements as well. We saw that ShoWTimE had a really clutch hold initially, where he was able to barely collapse on the army, focus down the first tank, and kind of stem the tide. Blink finished up early on as well, so he was able to dive on those tanks very quickly, focus them down, and shut down the attempted borderline all-in out of Bunny. Again, I was a little bit shocked that Bunny committed to the second push. I do feel like if he didn't, the game could have lasted a little bit longer. He could have been able to stabilize on 3 bases and build up, but I also understand that he felt pressured because of how aggressive the build was, right? Because of how committed he was, because of how late the upgrades were, he felt pressured to find some more damage. So I understand the rationale behind it. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out too well, just because he lost the momentum, and it meant that he just could not defend, could not survive back at home against the counterattack of ShoWTimE. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're going to the ace match. Going to be loading into White Rabbit for that 3rd and final game. Oh boy. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. Tying up the series 1-1, it is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Terran player, the South Korean Terran, representing Team Falcons. It is Bunny. We go. So players are going to be opening up. And for the past 2 games, Bunny's been going for double gas openers. We'll see if that trend continues here in the ace match as well. Welcome to White Rabbit. White Rabbit is a much larger map of the map pool, larger map, but longer rush distance by ground. Yep, once again, double gas. Double gas every single game so far in this series out of Bunny. But again, longer rush distance by ground, a very large map as well. I will say that the distance between some of these bases is a lot longer, so it can be difficult to keep up with aggressive rotations from your opponents. So we have seen some kind of shaky mid to late game on this map. It can be quite difficult depending on who has map control, but we'll get there. We will get there. Because of the terrain, depending on how you expand, we have seen players successfully pull off some 2-base all-ins, even though the map is a little bit larger. Specifically, this natural base is more accessible. If you can get up this ramp, if you can rotate, if you can get up this ramp and take control of this high ground location, if your opponent's stuck either at the triangular third or the linear third, you can just cut them off. You can just cut them off from their own natural base and just take control of this area and wedge yourself in and look to end the game. So we have seen a lot of aggression, a lot of successful aggression from Terran players. I think an example of that would be, imagine if we saw the same build we just saw on Winter Madness here instead, where you have your tanks, you get across the map, you sit up here in this location, and you have extra volleys, extra tank shots, and you have extra just more control overall. Now, I'm not too fond of the idea of going for the same build 2 games in a row, just because we already showed our hand. But if we hadn't gone for that on Winter Madness, I would have loved to have seen it here on White Rabbit instead. Regardless, we are going for our Rax factory into CC. No faster reactor this time, and no faster tech lab. So initially, Reaper Hellion. Reaper Hellion out of Bunny. ShoWTimE moving out. Does what the Reapers is now somewhat aware. He's now aware of the Reaper Hellion aggression coming his way. Okay, there we go. Jesus. I don't know if you noticed, but for the last game as well, sorry, my F key was dying on me, but it's working again. I don't know if you noticed, well, last game I tried to follow units and I just couldn't. I just couldn't follow them. Wicked. As Reaper Hellion has arrived, looking to try diving to the middle line. 1 Hellion goes down. A nice shield battery is in position. 2nd Hellion falls as well. Ooh, and this is not worth it. Yeah, this is not worth it. A Reaper falls. The boys are being pulled. The shield battery is not yet done, so probes are finally going to go down. Getting 1, getting 2 probe kills. Can we get 3? No, thanks. Yeah, only 2 probes. 2 probes for 3 Reapers and 2 Hellions. That was not worth it for Bunny. Better defense from ShoWTimE. Likewise, he was even able to cancel the shield battery. Once he realized that there was so little to work with for Bunny, he cancelled, realized they don't need it. They don't need that battery. And ShoWTimE has a slightly better early game. So ShoWTimE defends well. Meanwhile, I believe this was 2 gates. Wow, yeah, 2 gate blink into a 3rd, followed by the Robo. Very economic, very greedy build here by ShoWTimE. That's concerning. So ShoWTimE, he opted to go for a faster 3rd, delayed Robo, delayed 3rd gateway, delayed production. So a greedier build. And Bunny's failing to get damage done. He will even lose both Widow Mines. Oh my god, both Widow Mines go down. 0 damage is dealt. The medevac falls as well, and ShoWTimE is getting away with a lot here. It's getting away with a lot. Now, this 3rd base is going to kick in the mid-game, so you don't really see the disparity yet, but the speed of getting this 3rd base, the delay on the gateways, it will all soon kind of pay off. It will soon become apparent. And Bunny has to make a choice. Bunny has to make a choice. How aggressive is he going to be? Does he commit into a push from here, or does he turtle up and defend? As we do need to do one of the 2 extremes. Either be hyper defensive or hyper aggressive. But now ShoWTimE enforcing the boys to be pulled. Remember, it was 2 gate blink. Like, it's only a handful of stalkers. Like, ShoWTimE can't really threaten too much. So it's forcing these overreactions. Bunny, he didn't exactly get eyes on the full gateway count. For the most part, he did, though. Dropping outside the base. Coming in from behind. Okay. The goal here should be to force out a blink and then try to punish the Stalkers. Speaking of... Oh. Yeah, blink is being used. Here comes a flank, catching one of the Stalkers. Gets one. And can he get two? He can. Yeah, two Stalkers go down. Nice pickups here by Bunny. Nice movement. Now it's go time. Now it is go time behind this early storm here by ShoWTimE. Storm is done. Now this does mean that the Gateway army is very small. It's a much smaller Gateway army, but if the storms land, then it's more than worth it. Meanwhile, double jump into the main base. ShoWTimE out of position. He responds. He's racing over. Yeah, it does try to race over here. Battery goes down. ShoWTimE, he does leave his main army here in position at the third. But may not have reacted with enough. Yeah, Storm is okay, but we needed more Stalkers here. Yeah, nice spread by Bunny. He scans, sees the army, and Bunny doesn't commit yet. The drop was decent. The drop depowered all these gateways. Only killed 2 pros that did deny a lot of mining time. And traded well against the Zealots. And Bunny backs off. Bunny, he sees the High Templar, he sees the army. Bunny pulls away. And he's taking. He's taking up. He's getting his 3rd CC. He's getting his Ghost Academy. We're building up into the mid game. And we'll see if Bunny can find some more damage with these drops. Once again, nothing in the main base. This time, there's not even a shield battery in the main mineral line either. That is a concern. ShoWTimE is trying to set up some smaller pylons. There's a scan. Double drop is moving in. ShoWTimE doesn't have energy for a recall. He's pushing. Uh-oh. And he does have a defensive warp in. He commits. Yeah, he does commit in. Getting on top of the Marauders. I shall say soften up the army. The Prism is getting low as well. At the same time, the drop in the main base is getting out of hand. They're going for the gateways. Going for the Nexus. And he's all in. Yeah, he commits. ShoWTimE, he just commits. Massive storms. Storms are connecting. There's another storm coming in. Ooh, doesn't land. Yeah, unable to storm in time, but alas, the army is going to be cleaned up. ShoWTimE is pushing in. He's pushing forward. Back at home, he has defensive warpins. The gateways, they stayed powered. And ShoWTimE defends. ShoWTimE defends. He also breaks the 3rd expansion. Getting 12 SCV kills. ShoWTimE, he lost an expansion, but he saved the probes. Yeah, he saved the workers. You see here they're transferred over towards the 4th base. And Bunny's falling behind. He's falling behind. The drop in the main did not do enough. Yes, he killed the base, but that's all he got. That's all he got. Wasn't able to disrupt the production. Bunny lost control of his 3rd. Now ShoWTimE is settling in. It's calming down, settling in. Colossus are now on the way alongside Storm. And there's no real pressure on ShoWTimE to push into the 3rd base. What he should be doing here is just building up, gaining map control, and denying the 4th of Bunny. Deny the 4th base. Once again, Bunny, he has a lot of work to do here. Now, there is a chance, of course, that you can go for some drop play and try to counterattack and maybe hit the main again, right? Maybe hit the main again and actually find some damage, or distract ShoWTimE and hit the 4th base. And ahead on fight, I'm not too confident. The Viking count is very low. He's only got 4 Vikings, so only 4 Vikings. Has a decent chunk of ghosts, but again, the supply just isn't quite there. ShoWTimE is maxed. ShoWTimE is maxed out. As he's pushing, ShoWTimE getting another expansion. As Bunny tries to race back. At this point, I would say that it's on ShoWTimE to start trading. ShoWTimE has been maxed for a little bit of time now, and if he's a little bit too passive, then he's going to allow Bunny to recover. As Bunny is now getting up to 8 Vikings, soon to be 10. So Bunny's army is getting larger and larger. ShoWTimE is accumulating a bank. And ShoWTimE does refuse to trade. No. Prism is left behind. Nice EMPs. And nice EMPs on the Stalkers. Bunny's now built up a comparable army. Okay. And now we have a back and forth here. Bunny still has a very low economy, true, so he can't really afford to take a bad fight. But he does have a fight in him. As he rotates to the right hand side, ShoWTimE is out of position. ShoWTimE missed the rotation, and we're going for the base trade. Yes. And now it's going to be a late base trade. ShoWTimE still has a ways to go to actually hit a base. Bunny already gets one of the expansions, and Bunny decides to turn around. Oh, okay. Bunny does turn back around. Bunny's racing back home. ShoWTimE takes down the academy. All the SCVs on the low ground as well. ShoWTimE, he has those storms. Ooh. Lands a couple of feedbacks. And lands a couple of feedbacks, throws down those storms. ShoWTimE is going to pull away. He's going to try to get the hell out of here. Does go for a bit of a run by. Does pick up a couple of SCVs. And can ShoWTimE get out? Oof. Nah, he's getting caught. He's getting caught here. We'll lose every single Colossus. Colossus are going down. Zoun's are trading as best they can. And Bunny will take the fight. Bunny takes it. Oof. But it's not about the initial fights. Remember, ShoWTimE can remax. ShoWTimE, he can warp in, he can rebuild if given time. Catching out some of those Vikings. I'll say trade well. Storm of the Vikings is, oh my god. Storm of the Vikings. And we used to be 10 Vikings, now down to 4? Yeah, 4. Down to 4 Vikings. And remember, ShoWTimE is making 2 Colossus at a time, so now the Viking count isn't there. Bunny does get another expansion. And ShoWTimE is built to Jesus. That's a lot of that's a lot of Templar. It's a lot of Templar. ShoWTimE is built back up. And again, even though Bunny has had some more efficient trades, ShoWTimE has the economy. ShoWTimE has the bases, the bank, the economy. ShoWTimE looking to engage once again. Collapsing on the goes, and this time ShoWTimE should dominate this fight. Again, there were only 4 Vikings, only 3 ghosts. Down to 1, down to 0. 0 ghosts left. The Vikings are being focused down. And ShoWTimE is just snowballing out of control. ShoWTimE, he's done it, baby. He has done it. It was very close, very intense, went all the way to the ace match. And even in this game, Bunny had some strong moments himself when it came to the base trade, when it came to recovering, at least when it came to the army. But remember, Bunny never got a 4th. Bunny, he never got a 4th expansion. He never had an economy. That's why that even though Bunny had a better fight, Bunny can't afford to replace his losses. He can't afford to rebuild. He's broke, back. He's broke. And with that, ShoWTimE forcing his way in. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the decider match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations to ShoWTimE as he does advance on into that decider match. My condolences to Bunny. Bunny is out of the tournament. Bunny is knocked out, and we have some catching up to do. Here we go. We can catch up on the group itself. In the round of 16 here in the group stage of the Rongyi Cup, Group B, we had Clem. Clem, he took down ShoWTimE earlier. He's waiting to start his series against Zoun. Zoun took down Bunny, and ShoWTimE just eliminated Bunny in that elimination match. Bunny is now out of the tournament, but we still have 2 slots left. We still have 2 spots available here for the playoffs. Clem versus Zoun is going to be coming up next. That is to decide who's going to be the first player to make it through into the playoffs. And then the next series, then that leads into the decider match. The loser of Clem and Zoun have a second chance, a second life against ShoWTimE. Oh, do we finally get a mirror matchup? Do we finally not get a TVP in that decider match, or do the TVPs continue for the entirety of the broadcast? Let's go. Let's go. For now, we're going to be cutting to a short break. We're going to be cutting to a very, very short break here. When we come back, we will have Clem and Zoun facing off in that best of 3. See you soon. See you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. We just wrapped up with the elimination match, and we have bid Bunny adieu. Bunny, he was knocked out of the tournament, and now we are here to determine the first player to advance on in first place into those playoffs. Up next, we have another TVP, non-stop TVPs in this group, and we're also here to determine whether that trend continues in the decider match as well. Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to be jumping into our best of 3. Going to be loading into White Rabbit. Once again, we're going to be loading into one of the larger maps in the map pool. Larger map. Larger map rotations are a little bit more difficult. I feel like you saw that in the last game as well, where it can be very easy to be caught out of position in the mid game just because of the sheer size of the map as well. But we'll get into it. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the French Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the South Green Protoss representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go. Ooh, hello, Clem. Did you see what I see? The rally of the SCV. The SCV is rallied here on the right-hand side, avoiding the main attack path, coming in for the eBay block. So cheeky move here by Clem, trying to force the unnatural natural out of Zoun. We'll see if he can go by unscouted. As Zoun goes for the typical probe scouts, meanwhile Clem is coming in from behind. Does come in from behind, he'll slip by. The goal here is to get the eBay up and running, is to force an inefficient start, a more awkward and disrupted economic start, and force the base at the unnatural location. Thankfully, second probe moves down, Zoun will scout, Zoun will confirm, and Zoun can pull the boys. Yeah, here we go, the boys are being pulled, Zoun will focus down the SCV, and Zoun should be able to expand at his natural location. Again, if he hadn't moved down with that second probe as quickly as he did, then he would not have seen this, and we would have seen a much more difficult position for Zoun. But does focus us down and will expand. So from here, we're settling in. Clem still has a choice to make. Does he go for the factory or the CC? You can see he's down in position to block that command center. Speaking of, there's a cancellation. There's a Nexus for Zoun. And Clem is going for the CC. Oh! Does move down and does get it. Yeah, no block. Oh, yeah, Zoun was out of position, did not block. The command center could have been a bit of a more nuisance here for Clem and forced it to be off center, but overall, we're settling in. Overall, we're settling in here. Zoun building up into his cyber core, soon to be his tech of choice. Zoun, he does hide his probe here on the right-hand side. We'll keep it hidden and away from the prying eyes from the attempted Reaper from Clem. Let's keep the probe hidden, and we'll see if he does anything more sinister with this worker. Meanwhile, Clem, he went Marine first into the reactor, preserving his gas. This can lead into an add-on swap. This can lead into earlier tech lab. Show us what you got. Yeah, only Marine production, so preserving all that gas. As he does tech up. Oh. The probe does get activated, does race back home. So no shenanigans. There's no shenanigans here. There's no like proxy dark shrine or anything like that. It is going to be a Twilight Council opener back in for Zoun. Does go for the council. Here now we see what the gas is being spent on. Is going for the tech lab, into cyclone production, into early drop play. Oh boy. Now I'm most curious to see if Clem, we spoke about this previously, but Bunny went for the same builds. What was it, 2 games ago? There was a game where it was on Winter Madness. It was on Winter Madness. So this should be cyclone into medevac, into tank, into Viking. We'll see if Clem commits on one base. Oh, sorry, I say on one base. Commits here on a 2-base setup. Cyclone is on the way. Waiting for the medevac. Yep, early tank. Again, this is the same build that Bunny went for on Winter Madness. On Winter Madness, if you recall, that was the game where he got across the map, where ShoWTimE was able to get the first tank, shut it down, and then Bunny overextended, going for the second wave with 2 more tanks. So hyper aggressive. Again, we should be seeing a Viking here from Clem. No, never mind. No Viking going straight for the tech lab. Okay, so this is not as committed. Not as committed, not going for Vikings, but still going for the drop. So just waiting for that first tank. Now, the goal here should be to get within range of... I was going to say, if there was a robo on the low ground, he could target that. Hasn't seen anything with his Cyclone. He moved out, didn't confirm the production setup, and he's actually staying back at home. Wait, what? So I'm a little bit perplexed because my assumption here is that this reaction is based off of scouting, but Clem didn't see anything. Well, I guess what he saw was a lack of third base, but it was only... Nah, 3-gate. Yeah, 3-gate, robo. Okay. So Clem, he saw the lack of third. That prompted him to take a defensive stance instead, just because Zoun went for a safer build, going for the robo and 3 gates on 2 bases. So now this reaction makes more sense. So basically, Zoun went for a safer build. Clem saw that there was no third base at the time, so he recognized that this initial push wouldn't work out. So Clem doesn't risk it. As a result, it does mean that this build is inefficient, right? Like, Clem wanted to go for an earlier push, an earlier move out. He doesn't see an opening, so he doesn't go for it. So from here, we're building up. So Clem is repositioning. Catching out the initial observer. Nice snipe. Very nice snipe. Catching out the observer, catching out a stalker as well. Clem trying to be cheeky, baiting the army in. Oh my god. Nice bait. Nice moves out of Clem. Gets a stalker. Again, just Clem out trading Zoun early on. There's that third TC on the way. Clem building up into the mid game. And Zoun likewise taking up in towards Colossus. Charge is finishing up, Colossus on the way. Early charge like this is ideal if you believe your opponent's being more aggressive, but again, Clem is taking up. Hallucination confirms the third TC. Zoun is aware. Once again, Zoun doing everything he can to keep eyes on Clem's main army movements. Ooh, Zoun, he does poke in between the bases. Zoun, he doesn't see any reinforcements. Does spot a couple of marauders. Okay. Now we'll distract the main army. Scan reveals a Colossi. Clem is now aware. And again, it's been very tense. It's been very tense. Just a lot of army movements, a lot of army rotations. Clem pushes towards what would be fourth base and may get a pylon. Spots a pylon, pulls back. Catching out 2 zealots. And Clem has gained map control. He's gained map control. He's able to establish his own third. Second starport is on the way, going into mass Viking production. If you recall, the first game that he had against ShoWTimE, Clem didn't quite... He did actually go for a very... I mean, I was going to say he went for delayed ghost production, went for 0 ghost production. We'll keep an eye on the Ghost Academy. We have seen him at times take it at the same time as the second starports, but not here. Scanning, confirming the gases. Does spot the army as well. Second robo is on the way, so Zoun is going for double disruptor production. Clem, he will soon max out. Again, he's maxing out on a bit of a cheaper army. No Academy, just purely Marine, Marauder, Viking. Zoun is double expanding, getting his 4th and his 5th. And again, Clem, he wants Zoun to push in. Wants him to move in. Oh. Snipes the observer. Clem pushing through the center. Zoun, he doesn't quite spot him. The Colossus getting caught out. Oh no! It has to pull away. Has to get the hell out of here. Vikings, they do give chase. They're gonna get one. Yeah, one more volley here. Colossus goes down. Massive pickoff. There's one Colossus left. And Clem's not going to stop. Yeah, he's not going to stop. The Stalker will hold out as well. Massive pickoff. Zoun, he plummets in supply, and one fight, one wrong move, and that can be it. That can be game. That can be game then and there. Oof. As Zoun, he will lose every high-tech units. The Colossus, the Immortals, most of the Stalkers went down there as well. That was 7 Stalkers going down. Zoun, he attempts to sell a run by, but the reinforcements back at him to defend. The boys are being pulled. And Clem can just keep pushing. Yeah, he can just keep on pushing and see Zoun going for the base trade. He knows he cannot fight the main army, not anymore. Oh. Another grazes a Marauder. And here comes the base trade. And again, it's the best chance that Zoun has. The best chance. As we're trading bases. Clem takes down the 3rd. Zoun takes down the 3rd base as well. But Clem, he has so much more to work with. Oh no! Gets a Disruptor. Disruptor goes down, now pushing into the natural. There he goes off. Oh! Oh my, the splits! Clem, calm down, Pappy, calm down. The splits were crazy. Avoids an over, takes down the natural, now pushing into the main base. At the same time, Zoun also pushing into the natural of Clem. Now, Zoun does have a center expansion here on the right-hand side. True. Does have some extra bases. In a head-on fight, Clem wins, right? Clem, he has a massive army. And he also has reinforcements. Yeah, he has reinforcements in his main base. He defends the main. I don't know if I'm fond of the idea of Zoun turning back around. Whereas I feel like the only way he could have won this is if he tried to break the main base itself. If Zoun doesn't break the main, he can never fight the main army. Hunts down more CCs. Zoun does kill most of the buildings, but I don't see him breaking the main anymore. Now it's too late. Now there's freedom. Now there's liberators. He's going for it. Now the CC is being built. I'm just killing on more bases. Okay, hallucinations spots the liberators as well. And Zoun, he takes his chances elsewhere. He turns back around. He believes that maybe he can fight this main army instead. It's going to be difficult either way. Tanks are exposed. Tanks are on siege. Okay. Yeah, tanks take a hold on siege. I'll pick up. Ooh, tanks are going to go down. The best fight possible here for Zoun. Cleans up all 3 tanks, but there's just too many Marines. Yeah, too much man with gun here. Marines, Marauders, they still on forward. Vikings landing as well. And GG gets called. Clem, he takes the lead in the series, takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Clem takes the lead. Again, the base trade was the best chance that Zoun had. Unfortunately, he just got caught in the center of the map. Winding it back, we saw some very positional heavy play from both Zoun and Clem. Remember, Clem decided to go for a much cheaper army, did not take up into Ghosts, did not take up into Liberators until the very end of the game, of course. He decided to go on a very heavy Marine, Marauder, Viking army instead, was sharking around, did catch Zoun out of position, and that was game. That was game then and there. Was able to catch 2 Colossus, 2 Marauders, and 7 Stalkers. It was a massive catch there for Clem, and the only chance that Zoun had was the base trade. But even though that was the best chance he had, I feel like the only way to win that game would have been if Zoun could rush into the main before the Liberators arrived and try to camp that production. Failed to do so, wasn't quite able to break into the main base, and with that, GG. GG, well played. Whew. Again, a very tense game, and with that, we're going to be loading into game number 2. Clem takes the lead, and we'll see if he can claim the series here and now. We'll see if Zoun can bounce back. See if we can force the ace match. Let's go. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the French Terran player. We have the French Terran. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid, leading the series 1-0. It is a Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Sal in the chat. Apatry. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great, I'm assuming ladder session. Hope you had a great time. Sal. Bienvenidos, Fabi, bienvenidos. Welcome one and all to the Rongyi Cup Season 3 group stage. For those that are unaware, this is a major tournament that is being run by SC Boy and the Chinese scene. $21,000 prize pool, 21,000 USD, so massive prize pool, massive tournament. This is the group stage. Bearing in mind this is a replay cast, this group happened yesterday. So again, the replays are very fresh, they're very new, but we are casting it via replays. Usually we would cast it live, but here in January I just haven't been available in the evenings to cast. It's a little bit unfortunate, but some things have been happening IRL, so I have not been as available as I used to be, so I was unable to cover this live, instead covering it via replays, 12 hours after the fact. 12 hours later. No, 24 hours later. So here we go. Here we go. Likewise, as we settle into our game, where we have our standard openers, we do have an economic start out of Clem going for a Rax Expand single gas opener. But I should also bring up Homestory Cup. We made the decision last night just because of what's been happening IRL. Even though we have been the B stream for Homestory Cup for like the past 5 editions, 4 or 5 editions, and it's been great. Like we cover it on a seasonal basis, but this upcoming Homestory Cup next weekend, we unfortunately will not be able to cast and be the B stream. So I do apologize for that. Again, we've been doing so for years at this point, but again, I'm just not available. For those that are curious, my pet bunny is going to be having an operation the day of Homestory Cup. Technically the day before Homestory Cup, but those first couple of days I need to be there with her, right, to make sure she's okay. I feel like it'd be a little bit irresponsible if my pet bunny is like recovering from surgery and I'm casting Homestory Cup when I should be monitoring her, making sure she's eating, making sure that she's taken care of. So I will not be able to cast. But that's kind of what's been happening the past couple of weeks, is I just haven't been able to cast. I've been looking after our bunnies. Unfortunately, just some things have happened, but it'll be okay. Be okay. But that will be clashing with Homestory Cup, and it's been clashing with Rongyi Cup as well. It's been clashing with everything. It does mean that we most likely will be casting Homestory Cup via replays. We'll just do a replay cast instead, which is less than ideal. Especially because if we're not going to be the B stream, most likely there's going to be a lot of games that won't be casted at Homestory Cup during the group stage specifically. Like usually, like we're there to help cover whatever the mainstream doesn't cast, but yeah. It's mage. It's okay. March should be better. February is going to be a rough month as well, but by March we should finally get back to casting. Should be March. Best wishes to the bunny. Yeah. If you are curious about an update, we did pin a clip in our Discord server in our animals channel. I think I went into greater detail like last week. It's pinned on Discord. Drink for both bunnies. Yes. For sure. Should be okay. As Clem, he's going to be opening up with his mind drop. Again, going to be settling in, going for his own 1-1-1 economic opener into a mind drop. Zoun, meanwhile, I believe 2 gates. Ooh, getting up to, yeah, 3rd gate set up here, going for a faster 3rd. Setting up back at home, and we'll see if Zoun can keep up with the harass. See if he can keep up. So far, dropping into the wind wines or dropping into the base. So far, only killing 1 probe, so nice defense here by Zoun. Very nice defense. Alas, the medevac does get away, and Clem does save one of the mines. Not bad. So Clem does get out. He can always go back in and get some more damage. There's potential for greater value here for Clem. Is potential. As the mind drops are continuing. Oh my, what is this, 2020? Oh no! As Clem, he gets caught out. Massive pickoff. Ay, ay, ay. It's been a while since I've seen continued Widowmine drop play. Again, this kind of fell out of favor after the nerf. If you recall, there was a plethora of nerfs to the Widowmine a couple of years ago, which actually reduced the radius, reduced the damage, and also did actually allow for alerts to be had whenever a Widowmine burrows. Not even when it shoots, not even when it targets, but when the Widowmine actually burrows itself. So a lot of nerfs were had. Before that, mind drop play was very excessive and just permeating throughout PvT. So it's been a while. I appreciate that Clem went for it. It fell on its face, but I appreciate it nonetheless. As back then, Widowmine drop play was a lot more, not just a lot more common, but it would continue. Continue on into the mid game. A little more prevalent. Persistent, there we go. So Clem is going to be zoned back, now taking his third CC. And so far, Zoun has had a better early game. He's had a better early game. Cleaning up the mines. Expanding back at home. Pressure's on Clem. So you hear that I'm the same with my dog. Take care, Pappy, take care. Os Protos. Take care. Wish you the best. Wish you the best. Oh, sorry. I just realized you're wanting to pick away. My apologies. My apologies. We all do what we can. We'll do what we can for our pets. Do what we can. As Clem, he does move out. Again, there's a lot of pressure on Clem to find some damage, just because he's had a very rough early game and the mind drops have not really been quite worth it. Does rotate on the right hand side, gets spotted by the pylon. This does give Zoun some time to react. So Zoun getting in position, rotates back over, charge is about to finish, and Zoun is ready. But he is stuck on 3 bases. He has yet to take his 4th. Oh, does that with the Medivacs. Nice big offs. He gets 1, he gets 2. Oh, I assumed we'll get both. My body gets 1. 1 Medivac goes down. Clem does pull away. So far, Zoun is keeping up. From here, we should be seeing an expansion. Clem is getting his 3rd. And where is the 4th? And Zoun is holding his own. Okay, 4th base is now on the way. Should be thrown down soon. There we go. 4th base game being thrown down, and now we're getting into the mid game here. Unlike the previous game, Clem doesn't have any kind of clear advantage here. It's been a little bit more shaky, a little bit more back and forth. I will say that Clem's advantage currently is just his economy. He's had a faster 3rd base, and the 4th base for Zoun is late. Like, this is a later 4th base for Zoun. So Clem has that advantage. Zoun actually going to be the first to move out. Bold move. Zoun is pushing. He's got 1 Colossus so far. Now this area here at the 3rd base is very open, so it's very accessible. No bunker, no depots, no Sim City. Zoun, can he commit in? Oh! Okay, it's at the mines. Alright, Clem saves him. What do I say? Pull away. So they'll run by on the right hand side, running into Widow Mines. Oof. Gonna be cleaned up. Zoun pushing in. So far, Clem is holding on. Again, some good reactions so far, good positioning. And that was more wasteful than anything out of Zoun, bleeding out a lot of zealots. That was at 13 zealots for 1 Widowmine. That trade is crazy, baby. It's crazy. But again, Zoun was posturing. He was hoping to find a way in. In the end, it was not worth it. So nice defense here by Clem. Zoun, as he gets his 4th base, he throws down his 5th. And the goal at this point should just be contain. Should be contain the Terran. Contain the Terran player. And delay the 4th base. Meanwhile, the Protoss should be just mass expanding and looking to be the first to max out. I mean, I say first to maxed out. Because of the efficiency of Clem and because of the faster third, Clem, he's almost there. Jesus. Containing Clem is going to be easier said than done. I mean, Ay. Prism gets turned away. Oof. Sound, he does have a delayed reaction. We'll lose one of his stalkers. We'll lose two, actually. Two stalkers go down. Disruptor production has begun. Now, on the one hand, yes, Clem is going to be the first to max. Clem has a massive army. Disruptors are a way for Zoun to make up for that. If he can land some juicy connections, then he can take a fight. So he's slowly building up his disruptor count. From here, we just see Clem taking to the skies. He's already got his Ghost, now getting into Liberator production as well. He does not have a Fusion Core, so no Fusion Core yet. And Clem can freely take a fourth. We spoke earlier that the kind of goal here for Zoun should be to deny the fourth and contain Clem on 3 bases, but he just can't do, like, he doesn't have the army for it. But he's pushing on the right hand side. Yeah, no sensor tower. No sensor tower. There is an opening. Baits out the mine shots. Zoun is pushing in. But Clem does keep up. Clem is keeping up. You can see he's paranoid about a run by for good reason. Zoun pulls away. And Clem is maxed. Now, for Clem, it's all about perfecting the army. What is he missing? The Fusion Core. Fusion Core is on the way, so from here we're getting to Liberator range. Working towards Liberator range. Zoun taking more expansions. It'll still come down to the main engagements. Oh, Clem getting caught out in the open. Can't see any caught out. Zealous collapse on the Ghost. Better engage here for Zoun. Catching out 3-4 Ghosts. Oof. Has to pull away. It does pull away, but again, that was a better initial start. Zoun mainly trading out Zealots. And he pulls out. Oh, wait. There we go. That was... Oh, 2 Colossus went down, though, in the process. Never mind. Did catch 3 Ghosts. 3 Ghosts losing 8 Zealots, but that was still 2 Colossus falling. Once again, you can see he's trying to bait the army out and fight out in here in the open. Pushing further in, bleeds out a Disruptor. Yeah, Zoun overextending, losing 2 Disruptors. Novus do not connect. Zoun getting overeager. Again, fighting here on the low ground makes sense, so pushing up the ramp though, as he's losing his advantage. And he'll lose every Colossus. All the Colossus go down. Clem kites back to the Freedom Zones. To the Liberator, lands the Viking, shuts down all the Zealots, and Zoun has to get the hell out of here. He has to pull away. And that was a rougher fight. Thankfully, he has a bank. Mainly a mineral bank. Now, what's scary about that fight, on the one hand, yes, Zoun can afford these trades somewhat, and he can rebuild and replace his army, but you can see here he's replacing it with mainly Zealots. What did he lose? 4 Colossus. 4 Colossus went down. Was it 2 Disruptors? 3 Disruptors went down as well? That was a very high-tech army that he lost, and he's replacing it with something cheaper. So Zoun lost the backbone of his army. Now it's just very gateway-centric. So he does have those 2 Disruptors. Got one over left. Yeah, Disruptor, the Purification Level will connect. Nice snipe here by Clem. It takes down to every single Disruptor. Almost catching out the Prism. Clem has to be careful. Again, the Zoun army trades best out here in the open. Trying to surround, but nice kiting here by Clem. Yeah, it kites well. Every Zealot's going to fall. Massive EMPs here on the Stalkers. And Zoun has to pull away. Again, Zoun cannot afford to lose these Stalkers. He has no gas. He has no gas for that. But again, that was a much more efficient fight here for Clem. Zoun going back into disruptors. Oof. And remember, when it comes to these fights, Zoun, he can afford to lose all these zealots, that's fine, but once he starts losing disruptors, colossus, stalkers, that's when things look a little bit more scary. Yeah, Zel's getting called out. Zoun, he has to pull away. Oof, as Clem, over time, his Liberator count is just getting higher and higher. Building up more Liberators, more freedom. Massive counterattack on the left-hand side, going for the planetary. But there's a mass repair. Yeah, there's a mass repair. Liberators have arrived as well. Planetary should be saved. Oh, and he's gonna lose so many Stalkers. Yeah, hefty blow there for Zoun. Now he's pushing further in. Does catch 2 Liberators at least. Okay. Does catch the Liberators, going for the planetary. No, as they connect. And does get the expansion, but once again at a cost. That was 25 Zealots, 13 Stalkers. Oof. For a planetary. Again, got 2 goes, 3 Liberators. This is still a better trade for Clem. Now, if Zoun had gotten both bases, different story. But he only got 1. He only got 1 expansion, and it's about to be replaced. Ideally, in this kind of position, the Protoss player would have a bigger bank compared to the Terran. But you can see the gas banks are equivalent to each other. Zoun pushing on the left-hand side, going for the planetary once again. We're trading bases. We're going to be trading bases here. This planetary should go down this time. Oh no, the disruptors! Loses 1. Novas are connecting though. It does connect with those Novas. The planetary survives? No shot. Ay, ay, ay. The planetary lives. Yeah, Zoun is going further in, getting desperate. Catching out some Vikings. But still bleeding out more Stalkers. Clem is coming in from behind. He runs back around. And does Zoun get caught out? Oh. You know, as they don't connect. Yeah, they don't connect. No major connections. Grazes some ghosts. Disruptors are on their own, and they're not going to get away. Oh, actually, never mind. Yeah, better connection. 1 disruptor survives. 1 disruptor makes it back home. Zealots are cleaned up. Remember, the planetary did live. Zoun is going to keep pushing. He wants that planetary. He wants it. He's got 3 disruptors behind this as well. Goes 3 Novas, 2 of the Novas go off. They graze Marines, a couple of Marauders. That was the final Nova. On Zealots, they do try to catch some reinforcements. They hit the natural. Oof, and Zoun overextends. He blinked forward. He blinked in. No! Yeah, he blinked forward. He's going to lose so many Stalkers. Most of the Stalkers go down. He's trading well enough. Still maintaining a decent Stalker count. Rebuilding his bases, but Clem, now he has momentum himself. He can start to push. Zoun just keeps trying to hammer home. Oh, and there's no defenses here. Yeah, there's nothing to defend these bases. Ideally, Zoun wants to be keeping pressure up and forcing Clem to stay at home and not give him any breathing room. But the reality is Clem can breathe. Like Clem, these fights have been going better for Clem. So he has the freedom here to push out, to knock down these bases. Whereas ideally, Clem will never have the freedom to do so. So bases are going down left and right. EMPs pop off. More bases going down. And Zoun, he has no bank. Yeah, he has no bank. Desperation move out of here. Zoun, he blinks in. He's crazy. He blinks forward. Novas, they once again, no major connections. Every Stalker goes down. And with that, Clem is on it. Clem, he has on it. It's a massive fight in favor of Clem. GG gets called, and Clem will take the series 2-0, advancing on in first place out of Group B. GG. GG, well played, Clem. He will take it against Zoun. Unfortunately, took some really rough fights in the mid game. Really rough fights. I'm referring to the moments where he pushed in, where he lost 4 Colossus, he lost 3 Disruptors. We spoke about it at the time, but you cannot afford those losses as a Protoss player. Yes, you have a lot of bases. Yes, you have a lot of mineral income, but you do not have gas income. So it is crucial that you retain your Disruptors, you retain your Colossus, you retain your Stalkers. For every Colossus or Stalker that you lose, that's that much worse for the Protoss player. It does hit harder here, just because your Zealots are just your buffer. They're just the buffer for your army. And unfortunately, Zoun, who's just losing far too many high-tech units, which is why he never built up a bank. Never built up a gas bank specifically. And we spoke about it, because the fights were going so poorly for Zoun, it allowed Clem to push and to knock down bases. And at the end of that game, Zoun had no bank. He had no bank, he had no money. Again, the fights are just going too poorly for Zoun. GG. GG, well played. Clem out trading and being more efficient, and Clem does take the series 2-0, and we're down to the final series of the broadcast. Here we go. Final series of the broadcast here is going to be a PvP. We're finally taking a break from all the TVPs. Let's go. As you can see here, Clem is going to be the first player to make it through. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE took down Bunny. Bunny is eliminated, and we have one final series. It's going to be the decider match between Zoun and ShoWTimE. It's going to be a PvP to determine the next player, the final player to make it through out of the group into those playoffs. Let's go. Let us go. Zoun and ShoWTimE about to face off in that PvP, and this is going to be an interesting one. Momento. Just setting up. Decider match. ShoWTimE. As these two players have very different kind of shades and forms of PvP, Zoun is hyper aggressive. If you've been watching Zoun, especially Zoun versus Hero and Zoun versus Classic, we've seen Zoun Cannon Rush, Cheese, Proxy, hyper aggression against the other top Korean Protoss players. We'll see how Zoun feels going up against one of the top European Protoss players instead. Does he also feel that pressure? Does he feel that that pressure to be hyper aggressive and to be in ShoWTimE's face? Or does he take a more macro approach? We'll see. Also, bearing in mind that ShoWTimE does have a quote-unquote macro reputation. You know, he's the wall Demao. That is true in other matchups, but in PvP specifically, he's an animal just like everyone else. We've seen ShoWTimE 1-base all-in, proxy DTs, proxy 3 gates, getting into even 4 gate setups as well, like crazy hyper-aggression. ShoWTimE, he's willing to get down and dirty in this matchup as well. He's not kind of like the prim and proper macro player. I mean, he is in the other matchups more so, but in this one, less so. Let's go. Let us go, as we do have our final series. We have our PvP. Here we go. As spawning in the top left hand corner here of Ruby Rock, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the red Protoss representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go. Here we go. So we're getting into our PvP. Oh, we finally have a break from the non-stop Terran versus Protoss. Let's go, baby, let's go. We can take a break. Welcome to Ruby Rock. Ruby Rock is one of the smaller maps of the map pool. Smaller map aggression here is favored, and we'll see how that applies here. Mirror matchups are a little bit different, just because we could still kind of take things a little bit slower. I mentioned earlier that Zoun is typically much more aggressive in this matchup, but that is specifically against the other top Korean Protosses. I don't know if he feels the same way about ShoWTimE. So far, Two-gate opener out of Zoun, two-gate opener out of ShoWTimE. No one is mixing up their openers. No one is going for any kind of initial proxy. No one is going for an initial gateway into Cybercore either. As we have our initial probes scattered across the map. Getting eyes on any hidden pylons. Oh. I saw that. Hold on. Okay, just scouting. Just gonna be scouting. Again, ShoWTimE gets in, trying to force some inefficient mining. Does confirm the second pylon, and likewise, Zoun does the same. Zoun sees the second pylon in the main base, so both players are aware there's no proxy. No proxy, no shenanigans. Not yet. So from here, we should be expanding. It is going to be a Stalker Sentry opener out of Zoun, and the same can be said for ShoWTimE. This is kind of like the standard go-to. Ooh, Zoun gets locked into the main, so better start here for ShoWTimE. He locks down the probe. With this, he can focus it down, he can get a kill, or even force a recall. ShoWTimE goes to the pylon block. ShoWTimE with this pylon block able to confirm that it's going to be a Sentry Stalker opener. He knows. Again, ShoWTimE he killed the probe. Now we have our expansions. Oh, ShoWTimE being a little bit more active. Okay. I mean, it makes sense just because Zoun has less scouting information. And ShoWTimE is rallying. He's rallying across. Sets up the proxy pylon. He's going to be reinforcing. We mentioned this earlier at the start of this series, how ShoWTimE is a lot more aggressive in PvP and willing to be cheesy, willing to be all in. We're seeing some of that here. Even going for the hallucinations. Trying to tank those shots. He's here to tank those volleys. Going for the battery. Does go for the battery. Already does tank one volley. Has to respect those force fields. Has to respect it. ShoWTimE doesn't want to get locked in, but here come the reinforcements. Here come the warp ins. Force fields catch the sentry. Ooh, they trade. They trade 1-to-1. Another sentry arrives. He has a force field available. And ShoWTimE, can he break through? Again, that shield battery is putting in a lot of work. And ShoWTimE doesn't have enough. Yeah, he doesn't have enough. ShoWTimE pulls away, and we macro. There was potential for sure. If ShoWTimE was able to lock down some of these units and force field in a Stalker, a Sentry, then maybe, but alas, ShoWTimE failed to do so. Failed to do so. I would say ShoWTime's in a slightly worse position just because he had committed this hard into aggression, but there is potential to recover with these adepts. Remember, 2 adepts, they one-shot probes. They one-shot workers. We can shade into a mineral line. And ShoWTimE can find some damage. Here comes a shade. No probe. Yeah, no probe in position. No wall off. Behind this, both players getting into blink. Robo's on the way for Zoun. ShoWTimE, we should be seeing a Robo taking a risk. So ShoWTimE, he's going for a 3rd base before Robo. This is greedy. So a greedy play here by ShoWTimE. Does go for his 3rd. Now, what does this mean? It means that if Zoun went for a Dark Shrine, if he went for DTs, like ShoWTimE would just lose. It'd just be an instant GG. So it is a little bit risky. Zoun playing it safer. But it does look like ShoWTimE had to cut that corner to be able to keep up with Zoun, just because of the commitment into all these Stalkers in the proxy. That's why you can see the 3rd bases are lined up. It's because ShoWTimE was behind after the failed aggression. Even here, ShoWTimE going for the Forge, still not going for the Robo. Getting into faster upgrades. As he pokes out, remember both players have blink. ShoWTimE still has the higher Stalker count, so he can take a fight. He still has a larger army. Ooh, gets a sentry. Nice pickoff. Sentry goes down. At the same time, it upsets Shade into the natural. Gets one, gets two. Only two, though. So there is a battery. So two probes go down. Not the best pickoffs here by ShoWTimE. But at least got the sentry. And again, ShoWTimE has a much faster upgrade. Faster +1. Faster upgrades, Stalkers, they do commit in. ShoWTimE going to try to break, Zoun going to try to break ShoWTimE before he can get into his upgrades. Yeah, the batteries are still on the way, and Zoun, he is pushing through. And he doesn't. Yeah, he has broken him. Again, the batteries are just too late. Too little, too late. Zoun is getting into the middle line. Boys are being pulled. Just too many Stalkers here. And GG gets called. GG gets called. Zoun punishing ShoWTimE, and Zoun takes game number 1. GG. Again, ShoWTimE was trying to be aggressive earlier on, and we did mention how he failed to be aggressive, so the aggression did fail. That's why he was cutting corners to catch back up, to get into his faster third base, and unfortunately, because he was investing into production, gateways, forge, upgrades, the third, he wasn't quite able to be ready in time for the earlier push of Zoun. GG. GG, well played. Zoun does take a lead in the series, does take game number 1, and ShoWTimE caught with his pants down. Caught with his pants down, but also punished for the earlier attempt at aggression that did fail. With that, we're now getting into game 2. Going to be a much smaller map here, and we'll see if ShoWTimE calms down, or we'll see if he commits a little bit harder. As we're loading into a much smaller map, going to be loading into Tourmaline. Let's go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner of Tourmaline, we have the German Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss for Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss himself from South Korea. It is Zoun, representing Team Vitality. Here we go. So we are going to be settling in. Again, after what happened last game, I would imagine that ShoWTimE will calm down, right? I would imagine that he's not going to go for the proxy pylon, not going to go for the extra Stalker warpins. I imagine he's going to be slowing things down. But on a map like Tourmaline, I don't know if you can. True. Don't know if you can, Babby. As we have Zoun going for his probe scout. I believe ShoWTimE doesn't scout. Bold move out of ShoWTimE, but he will skip the scout entirely. ShoWTimE, he sees nothing, he knows nothing. Zoun will be able to confirm the placement of the second pylon, and for all ShoWTimE knows, there could be another pylon here, there could be a proxy, there could be an all-in coming his way. Yeah, going for a delayed scout. We can see that ShoWTimE doesn't really have anything to be worried about. There's that second pylon. Oh. Zoun pulls away. As both players do pylon block, so far we're selling in. When it comes to initial openers here, it's going to be Stalker Sentry out of ShoWTimE. We have Zoun opening up with an earlier Adept. This allows him to move out, to scout, to poke in, to threaten. A little bit more of an active style here from Zoun. ShoWTimE continuing with extra sentries. See Adept is moving in. Adept will actually slip in towards the main. Does commit to the shade. Hallucination scouts everything. We have both players going to their Twilight Councils. Once again, both players getting into Blink. Zoun does Zoun a ShoWTimE back. Forces him to waste some force fields. Otherwise, we're settling in. Again, because of the triple sentry opener, it tells me that ShoWTimE should have non-stop hallucinations. Just non-stop scouting. Once again, Zoun is going for the safety Robo. Robo before third. ShoWTimE, is he going for the third before Robo again? Not this time. Not this time. There's that Robo out of ShoWTimE as well. So both players are building up. At this point, there's a higher chance we can get into the mid-game here. As Zoun does throw down extra gateways, getting up to 6. Oof, that's a hefty gateway count on 2 bases, so 6 gate set up here out of Zoun. We're going for the Prism. Yep, Prism, 2 base all in. 2 base all in here. Zoun is going to commit, going to double down instead of expanding extra gateways. And this hallucination should be able to confirm. Awkward path. He doesn't see the gates. Doesn't see the gateways yet. He does rally back around. There we go, sees 2 extra gateways here on the low ground, but he's seen only 4 so far. That's not a tell. But the lack of third base is true. Lack of third expansion. Immortal production has begun. Again, thankfully, because it didn't skip the Robo, he does have some safety Immortals. So Immortals on the way. He's got 1 shield battery here at the third base. The all-in is coming. Zoun is moving out. Remember, he has 6 gateways. There it is. He worked in 4. There's the other 2. The Immortal is going to be a big factor in the defense. At the same time, Adept is going to be shading towards that natural. Zoun picks in. Zoun picks in. Warping in more Stalkers. And it's all or nothing for Zoun. He has to break through. He has to try to break through here. Now there's a second Immortal. Yeah, second Immortal has arrived. This is looking more and more dire here for Zoun. He blinks on over. The Immortals are out of position. Very nice force fields. Okay. Zoun's away the army. Picks off like 2-3 Stalkers. Dives on the Immortals. He gets 1. Takes down 1. Trying to go for the other as well. And the Immortal is barely not going to go down. Ay. The Immortal survives. And ShoWTimE is holding. Yeah, ShoWTimE is holding on. Oof. Immortal goes down, but now there's another taking space. GG gets called, the all-in fails, and ShoWTimE ties up the series 1-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Zoun committed into the 2-base all-in, going for a 6-gate setup on 2 bases. It was all or nothing. Thankfully, ShoWTimE went for the earlier Robo, so he had Immortal production, and you saw how important, how crucial those Immortals were in the defense. That was the backbone of the army there for ShoWTimE, and it was able to barely hold on, had the clutch energy overcharge, saved the Immortal, and with that, won the game. GG. GG, well played. Did take it from there, and now we're going all the way to the ace match. Going to the ace match. Going to game 3. The final game of the series, the final game of the broadcast. The final game to determine who will join Clem in the next round in the playoffs. We're here to find out. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Title Citadel, we have the German Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Sentinels. It is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the South Green Protoss, representing Team Vitality. It is Zoun. Here we go. All he really committed was a single pylon proxy and he's a warp in anyways. Or he proxied the pylon and he committed to extra stalker warp ins instead of having like a greater economy and a greater defensive setup, if you're referring to game one. I'm referring to those extra warp ins earlier on, which does like kind of hurt you getting into a longer game. But I guess it is more important that, like, again, he was investing into gateways, the forge, the upgrades, like investing into kind of other factors instead of having a defensive setup. True, true. But I believe that's in reference to game one. Reference to game one. So now we're getting into that ace match, and so far, no proxies. No proxies. We have ShoWTimE going for the earlier probe scouts. ShoWTimE gets eyes on the second pylon. Likewise, Zoun will soon do the same. From here, waiting for our first units of choice. Ooh, okay, the first big deviation. ShoWTimE opening up double adept. Okay, double adept here at a ShoWTimE. Remember, two adepts can one-shot probes, so the goal here is to try to shade past the army and shade into a mineral line. From here, we can double down and go for a third and fourth adept, and even a fifth and sixth adept as well. So we could just double down and commit quite hard. Yep, it's going to be adepts with Stargate as well before expansion. So very aggressive opener here by ShoWTimE. Adept aggression and oracles as well. So adepts and oracles going to be moving out. This will delay the expand. At the same time, ShoWTimE gets a pylon block. Okay. Blocks the nexus. Does block the base. And we can see here it's only going to be two adepts. Okay. Doesn't commit to an extra wave. Only two adepts. Hallucination Scout out of Zoun will confirm everything. Sees the expansion and confirms the Stargate. Now it's going to be more difficult for ShoWTimE to find some damage. Adepts say thread in the shade. We do have the probe in position to block. And there's that shield battery in the main base as well. Remember, a shield battery is enough to out-heal the damage output of an oracle and buy time. So there's that battery. When it comes to the math and how that works, two oracles one shot. So if we bank up the oracle and get a second oracle, we can one shot probes. But no, is only going for the singular oracle. Okay. So it doesn't commit too hard into oracles, but at the same time, like, this is still a decent investment here. Going for the oracles, going for the adepts. We'll see if this can pay for itself. Oh, he gets in. Uh-oh. He threatens a shade. Oracle is deflected. Adepts as well. ShoWTimE doesn't get in, even losing one of the adepts. Ay, ay, ay. The Oracle goes further into the bases. And maybe gets one? No, not even. Yeah, not even. The shield battery's in position, fails to get damage done. Rough start here for ShoWTimE. As he tries to go back in, gets a revelation off. Behind this, getting into Blink. Throwing down a third gateway. And we'll see if Zoun techs or if he expands. As Blink has not yet started. Uh-oh. Zoun, he has the money for it, by the way. He's going for the faster third base. I'm hoping that, okay, now he does notice. Late blink. Oof. Late blink here for Zoun. He had the tech in position, but he was distracted by the Oracle. Like, the Oracle, the Adepts, even though they didn't get damage done, they did successfully distract Zoun and did disrupt his build. Now there's going to be a window. There's going to be a window in time where ShoWTimE is blink and Zoun does not. And we'll see if ShoWTimE can make use of that window. ShoWTimE does expand, so he's not going for a 2-base all-in. He'll expand. He's moving out. Remember, ShoWTimE has a little more micro potential. As Blink is finishing up in 5 seconds. Zoun will have some force fields. Force fields are going to be available. Breaking in. Gets a gateway. Gateway goes down. You can see him trying to bait the army into a stasis trap as well. Adepts there looking to harass on the right hand side. Remember, ShoWTimE's third base is very delayed in comparison to Zoun, so there's a lot of pressure on ShoWTimE to find some damage. Oh, gets a sentry, baits him in. A nice bait. Stasis goes off. Adepts, they don't quite commit yet. Zoun is keeping up. Zoun is keeping up with the aggression. Third base now getting up for ShoWTimE. And Zoun now he has Blink. Got Blink, we've got the upgrades. Now, even though ShoWTimE didn't get much damage done with the Oracle in the early game, like, these stasis traps still have potential. Speaking of, Jesus. Speaking of, it does have the Observer. The Observer moves in, stasis traps are cleared up. Whew. ShoWTimE still trying to keep Zoun on the back foot. Oh. As the Oracle gets sniped. Nice snipe on the Oracle. What was that up? Say, do shade in towards that natural. 5 probes going down. Nice damage by ShoWTimE. Nice damage, nice harass. Even catching Zoun out of position, forcing a cancellation. Okay. ShoWTimE is popping up. Cancels the 4th base. Gets 5 probe kills. And gets his own. ShoWTIME's own 4th base is almost done. As he rotates once again. Dark Shrine is on the way. Let's go. Getting into DTs. Goes down. He's able to keep over the rotation this time. Picks off the stasis trap. And again, that was the final stasis trap for ShoWTimE. He lost the Oracle earlier. Zoun is looking to stabilize. Now, Zoun is getting into a much more traditional composition. We have charge lots, we have stalkers, and we have archons on the way. Temple Archives into Archon production. I believe there is a robot, but there's no immortal production yet. But Zoun is kind of getting into that traditional kind of mid-game composition of Charge Dot, Stalker, Immortal, Archon. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is getting there a little bit more delayed. Later Robo, later Temple Archives, or later Tech, but he's going for the earlier Dark Shrine. DTs have some potential. There are 2 observers on the map. We have one in the center and we have one towards the left hand side. There is a way across the map to get into these middle lines. There's potential for DTs, but I spoke too soon. Safety cannons. Cannon on the right hand side. We have a cannon here. Sorry, there's 2 cannons. One here on the right hand side, the other on the left. So there's not many ways in. To ShoWTimE even going into Shadow Stride. Okay, that's rarely seen. Base shade. The armies, they miss each other completely. Oh my god, ShoWTimE, he does hit the 4th base. At the same time, Zoun, he hits the 3rd. Oh boy. Yeah, we just committed. The armies, they just passed by each other completely. Bases are going down. Zoun, he ignores the third. I like this. He ignores the third base, is going straight for the natural instead. What is scary though about this base trade though is the Dark Shrine. DTs, they could actually be a big factor here if detection is focused down. Zoun going further into the main. Depower some of the gateways. Spots the Dark Shrine. Can he deny some of these upgrades? ShoWTimE also going in. Yeah, also diving in as well. Everything's getting depowered. A +2 will be denied for both players. And we have one Dark Templar. There's one there's one DT on the right-hand side. There is an Observer with the main army of Zoun. He has the Observer. ShoWTimE, he throws down a Ninja base. He has Nexus. And Zoun has enough money for one as well. Zoun, he evacuates his probes. He should also get Nexus as well. As the bases are being traded. Now we need to take a moment to take stock here of the main army. So we do have a higher Stalker count for ShoWTimE. We have a higher Zealot count for ShoWTimE as well. He just has a large army. ShoWTimE, we have equivalent upgrades at larger army for ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE setting up cannons and shield batteries here at his Ninja base. Zoun running out of buildings. He does have a pylon top right. We need a Nexus somewhere. He's throwing down more pylons. There we go. Nexus in the center. And the problem is that Zoun has not seen the base, and I don't think he's aware of the size of the army either. Now, in a head-on fight, we have to favor ShoWTimE, for sure. But there is a world, there's a chance that maybe ShoWTimE fights with half his army, right? If he rotates, if he tries to hunt down the final buildings, if he moves out, then there's a chance he might get caught. So have that DT looking for bases. Zoun expanding top right as well. Something that might influence this is that Zoun does have all of his workers with his army as well. But so does ShoWTimE somewhat. ShoWTimE can pull the boys. They spot each other. Zealot's out of position for ShoWTimE. So better start to the fight for Zoun. Softens up some of these Stalkers. Yeah, he has the high ground as well. Initially better engaged. Does kite back. And very patient play here by Zoun, pulling back those Zealots, attacking with the Stalkers, taking advantage of the high ground. So much free damage. Oh my god. Yeah, so much free damage here. Again, ShoWTimE, he chose to expand here next to the high ground. Like he has to stand and fight in this position. Ay, ay, ay. Remember, ShoWTimE, he still does have the large army. Zoun pulls away. Once again, free damage on those Zealots. ShoWTimE, he does have an economy though. He's able to warping in DTs. But there's detection. Yeah, there is detection here. DT is going to be cleaned up. Ooh, Zoun is running out of Zealots. Zoun, he's running out of Zealots here. And Zoun, he's been trading well for himself. He has been out trading even, but it might just not be enough. Yeah, ShoWTimE is still up in Stalkers. Zoun trying to push further in. I mean, again, these shield barriers have been helping. GG gets called. The batteries, the cannon, the defensive setup here was still too good. And ShoWTimE, he will take the series 2-1 over Zoun. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Very impressive play there towards the end out of Zoun. Again, he had the smaller army to work with, but he was out trading ShoWTimE. But remember, ShoWTimE, he had the shield batteries, had the cannons, he had extra warpins available there as well, and he was able to survive. He was able to eventually clean up all those Zealots and eventually get on top of the Stalkers. GG. GG, well played. Whew, as ShoWTimE does claim the series, he will advance on, and Zoun is out of the tournament. Zoun and Bunny are out. ShoWTimE and Clem are in. They're in the playoffs. GG, well played. Congratulations. Oh. Congratulations here to ShoWTimE as we catch up on the group itself. Un momento. Here, but again, very close, very clutch towards the end. Congratulations, Clem. Clem took down ShoWTimE initially 2-1. Clem took down Zoun 2-0 to be the first way to make it through. And ShoWTimE, he took down Bunny 2-1 and took down Zoun 2-1 as well. Went all the way to the ace match. A lot of ace matches here in tonight's broadcast. And ShoWTimE barely brought down both Bunny and Zoun to also make it through into the main event, into the playoffs. So GG well played. Congratulations to ShoWTimE and Clem. My condolences to Bunny and Zoun as they are out of the tournament. And with that, that is Group B concluding. Remember, 4 groups in total. We have 4 groups in total here tonight in around 6 hours or 5.5 hours time, which is not a lot of time, by the way. I have a little bit of time to make some food, to make some dinner, get ready, and also take care of the bunnies as well, and get ready for the next cast. But in 5.5 hours, we're going to be live with Group C. Group C is going to be later on tonight, and Group D is going to be tomorrow. We'll be covering it tomorrow morning. So again, it's still 4 groups in total. If you missed out on Group A, we casted Group A yesterday, so you can check it out over on YouTube. Check out the VODs. Thanks for casting this. I wasn't able to cover it live. It's all good, Pappy. It's all good. All good. Crazy games, man. Crazy games. Yeah, GG, well played. And again, very intense back and forth here, and I hope you'll enjoy yourselves. Hope you'll had a great time. Oh, I should actually go back here. When it comes to our schedule this week, we have been adjusting a little bit here. Again, as I mentioned before, it's a bit of an IRL update, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we've had some medical issues with our pet bunnies, and that has taken up a lot of our time. That's why in January we actually have barely casted, at least compared to what we usually do. Usually we're casting like twice a day, every single day, but we've had a lot of quote-unquote days off. I say days off. It's been a very stressful month. It's been very, very stressful when it comes to what's been happening with our bunnies. I did leave an update on Discord, I want to say like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, but basically when we went in at the start of the year to have our bunnies desexed, we found that something was wrong with one of our bunnies. Their heart rate was lower. Their heart rate was lower than normal, was abnormally low. She was given like a muscle relaxant and it went down even further, just like a dangerously low heart rate. So something was clearly wrong. Because of that, she could not go under anesthesia, otherwise her life would be at risk. X-rays were had, like we had some X-rays done to try to figure out what's going on, to get eyes on her heart. Her heart seemed to be enlarged, like her heart was abnormally large. It looks like a genetic thing, which caused her lower heart rates, which like caused all these issues. So then we had to go to a vet hospital. We had to see a bunny cardiologist, which are quite rare, and there's not many of them, so we had to try to schedule for that, to get an EKG, to get an EKG done, to get an ultrasound done, to get some more imaging done, to try to figure out what was going on. Eventually we got a CT scan as well. Like it was all this stuff, todo este vaina, papi. And in the end, it does seem like she's going to be okay. Thankfully, shout out to those at the vet hospital for, of course, like figuring out what was going on. They basically were able to determine that it was safe to like give her some drugs to like increase her heart rate, to make it safe to undergo surgery as well, so that she'd be able to survive something like that. The CT scan revealed that it actually wasn't a heart issue that was causing her lower heart rate. It looks like it was a respiratory issue instead, which was actually pressing against a nerve that led to the heart. So that's why that was happening. And we still have to confirm like what exactly caused that, and what is pushing against that, what is causing those issues as well. It's causing her to be prone to heart attacks, to be prone to fainting, to have issues breathing at times as well. So there's like all these things that are happening because of that. And as I mentioned before, she's going to be undergoing an operation and undergoing surgery on Thursday, and she's going to be staying overnight, and we're going to be picking up on Friday. Now, for StarCraft, unfortunately, what that means is, what is this Friday? Home Story Cup. Home Story Cup is this Friday, and we have been the B stream for Home Story Cup for like the past 5 editions. We've been the B stream, but because this is kind of overlapping with what's been happening IRL, I won't be able to cast Home Story Cup. It's a bit of a shame, again, just because we've been casting Home Story Cup for a couple of years now, but we won't be able to cast it live. Most likely we'll be covering it via replays. We'll probably just do a replay cast maybe next week, maybe the week after that instead, but we will not be able to cast it live, which is a shame. That might mean that Home Story Cup won't have a B stream. Maybe Dave Testa or Chicken Man or Steadfast or one of these other guys can step in. Usually we're the B stream. Maybe someone else can step in and be the B stream instead. But yeah, we won't be able to just because, especially when it comes to bunnies post operation. Hopefully it goes well, and if it does go well, it can be a little bit dangerous for them, because you have to make sure they're eating, you have to make sure they're eating, you have to make sure that they're drinking, you have to make sure that they're okay, you have to make sure that they don't like try to like lick or like disrupt their wound either, so they can heal well, so there's no like inflammation, there's no swelling, there's no ulcers, there's no issues. So like yeah, gonna be with our bunnies to make sure they're okay. So unfortunately, that means we were able to cast Home Story Cup. That's also why we have been casting less this year in January, just because there's been a lot of vet visits, there's been a lot of appointments, there's been a lot of monitoring our bunnies as well, and all that stuff. So it's been a very stressful year. It's been it's been a very, very stressful year. And if you want to help us out, you don't have to, but the vet bills have been insane. I want to say we've spent like $4,000 on vet bills. Like the CT scan alone was like $2,500. The ultrasound was like $600. The EKG was like $300. Like it all adds up. It was insanely expensive. So that's also been a big blow, and the fact that we haven't been able to cast either. So if you want to help us out, you can. Otherwise, don't feel the need to. We're okay. You know, we'll do what we can for our bunnies. They're our bunnies. They're our bunnies. Yeah. So yeah. So it is going to be a rough road to recovery. Because of all this as well, our two bunnies are separated. For those who don't know, bunnies, they bond and they have, you know, and they forge these relationships. But if you separate them for too long, their bond gets broken. We have two bunnies, and right now they are separated from each other. So because of that, they have become, even though they've been together for like 5 months, their bond has been broken, so that has to be mended again. That's also going to be a big thing as well, is to have them spend some time with each other and you know, rebuild that bond, because right now because they've been separated, they're a little bit more territorial and a little bit more aggressive with each other. Also because one of our bunnies, the one with issues, hasn't been desexed, she's a lot more hormonal and a little more aggressive, not to us but to the other bunny as well. Just because bunnies can be very territorial like that, and that's one of the reasons why you also want to get them desexed as well, is because of they can be quite hormonal at times. So they are separated, and it's gonna be also a journey as well to try to rebond them and reconnect them. That's also why I have to spend more time with them as well, because they're a little bit more lonely than they used to be, because they're apart from each other. It's like I gotta be there so they don't get like depressed or anything like that either. Like, it's all this stuff. So yeah, it's been a rough January. It's been very rough January, papi. But we'll make it through. You know, coming into March, we should be back onto casting. March should be, you know, full-time casting again. Shouldn't be any issues. March will be amazing. But January and coming into February has been rough, and yeah, bunny cardiologist, yeah. All the best to the ones. They seem to be good. Yeah, I mean, we care them. We're doing our best to look after them. We're doing our best. They're okay. But that's also why we haven't had bunny cams either, because like they are a little bit separated. We don't really want to show that. Once everything's back on track, then we can show them again. We can have bunny cam. Just glad that the prognosis for medicine is good. Yeah, like it seems good. Obviously there's always risk when it comes to operations, so that's a little bit stressful. There's always risk that comes to that. Always risk, but yeah, they're being looked after. I missed the bunny cam. One day it'll come back. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, our next broadcast should be this evening. It should be in around 5 hours. In around 5 hours time, we should be live with Rongyi Cup Group C. And tomorrow we're going to be live with Group D as well. And again, we should be able to wrap up Rongyi Cup, but again, coming into this upcoming weekend, we won't be able to cast Home Story Cup. The recovery period of bunnies is around 10 days. So for those 10 days as well, I'm probably going to be casting a little bit less, just to, you know, monitor, just look after them as well. So just as a heads up, shout out to all those that have been concerned. We've been getting a lot of messages about our lack of casting just because it's so abnormal. I even had some casters. Shout out to Enki and shout out to Cosmos. He's the main Brazilian caster, and Enki's the main Spanish caster out there, and they both send me messages being like, hey, are you okay? Like, we've noticed you haven't been casting. Some of our viewers have been asking about you as well, and it's like, Again, we were close to the Latin American scene, but it was really cool, and I appreciated that both Cosmos and Enki reached out. Much love to Cosmos, much love to Enki. El hermoso, papi, el hermoso. Ay, ay, ay. But yeah, with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in 5 hours for some more StarCraft. See you then. Until then, thanks for watching. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.